Very terrifying, does it? But he's rated very highly. He was the number 2 draft pick by Texas in the entire nation in June of 1974. Number 2 in the entire nation. Worked 17 and 2/3 innings, given up 22 hits, one of them a homer, and his earned run average 4.5. Right-hander delivers the first pitch to Ivan. He takes it high for ball 1, and the ball game is underway. Jesus stepping in with a 316 batting average for the year. Is 4 for 9 in Atlanta. Fastball. End up for a strike called in the outside corner. You could hear that one fuzz into the mid of Joe Nolan, the catcher. Enos Lowry coaching at third. Cookie Rojas at first base. They just moved Roland Office in center, a few steps over into right center. Here's the pitch. Just missed the outside corner, turned it over a bit, and they're giving him the left field line. Burrows is well off of it. And Esselstein guarding the line at right, so they're playing Ivan to swing late. Wind up in the 2-1 delivery. Took a little off, and he missed inside. May have been his slider. Ball 3, strike 1. Good size kid, but 6'2", 200, only 22 years of age. Ivan checking with Lowry. Wants to know if he can go after this one. 3-1 pitch on its way. And he missed low and outside. And Ivan is on with a base on balls. In his first 3 outings this year, Boggs had walked 7, 1 intentionally.
Vince, I would say that we're going to have to do some hitting and running and some base stealing to try to break open an inning here to score a couple of runs.
Get aggressive. Yes, sir. Greg Gross studying Lowry's signs. Still looking down there. Not quite sure yet what he's supposed to be doing. Lowry hasn't made a motion. Greg taking control, holding that batter's box, hitting .333, and he's 3 for 6 against Atlanta here. Left-hander, of course. The pitch to Jesus not going, and it's a ball a little bit low. Lowry glances into the dugout, relays Herman Frank's orders to the hitter. They may have something on here. Jesus, matter of fact, checking Cookie Rojas. He wasn't quite sure. And Cookie relays him the sign. Pretty good lead, and he's driven back with a good throw by Boggs over there. Playing Gross straight away in center. All 1, no strikes, runner at first, nobody out, doesn't go, and it's a ball too low. Lowry again going through a series of signs. Looks a little bit different from what it was in the last pitch. Dale Murphy holding the runner on at first base. 2-0 delivery. He doesn't go, and it's a strike on the inside corner. Now they might do it, huh?
They could right here because they know that Atlanta doesn't want to get the count of 3-1 if possible.
Ivan taking a fairly good lead. That looks like it's been watered down pretty good. He's driven back by Boggs' throw over to the 6'5" first baseman. Played there Friday night, and last night Murphy did the catching for him. Boggs into the stretch. 2-1 delivery. De Jesus doesn't go, and it's a ball too high. Now 3-1. And he might send him here. I would say they would. 3-1.
If he's hitting, of course, he might be taken with a pitcher as wild as Boggs is, and they've already starting somebody to warm up for Atlanta.
He goes. That's a 3-1 pitch, and it's flat foul, a fastball. Out of play to the left side.
That's the prerogative of a manager to pick his spot on any particular pitch. The situation calls for it, but it's up to him to try to figure out the right pitch for the hit and run or the steal.
And if that one, of course, on 3-1, if it's out of that strike zone, in Gross's estimation, he can take with the base down balls, and if it's in there, or if he thinks it's in there, he better go after it, which he did. Go full count. We'll keep an eye on to Jesus again. Boggs from the stretch delivers to Jesus, goes, there's a swing, and a drive to left field for a base hit. Ivan makes a turn, he's going to go for third, and Burrows fumbled the ball momentarily and wheels the throw into second base. He might have had a play on Ivan, but he had trouble getting the ball out of his glove, and then he elected to play it safe. Wheel the throw into second. So the Cubs have runners at first and third with nobody out, and let's get some runs on the board. Bill Buckner stepping in, 1 for 6. There'll be a little consultation. Pitching coach going out there to talk to Bach. This is scoring at Philadelphia. San Diego scored one in the first, one in the second. The Phillies got one in the bottom of the first inning. It's Randy Jones for the Padres against Barry Lurch. Lurch is 2-1 and Jones 1-1. Dodgers will be in Chicago Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, playing at St. Louis today. They lost. Although the Cardinals got only 2 hits last night, they lost 1-0 to them. And Don Sutton, 2-1, goes against John Urias, who's 1-2. Cincinnati at New York. White Sox entertaining Baltimore, Chicago today. Flanagan against Berrios. First pitch, Buckner takes it high, ball 1. Looks like a breaking ball to him. I understand it's cold in Chicago. Pretty warm in Atlanta, temperature around 70. Threatening skies. Fox delivers. Buckner takes. In too close at the letters. 2-0. And Bod's having a lot of control problems right off the bat. Mickey Miller, left-hander, throwing in their bullpen. Buckner, 1 for 6 here, batting .367, has a homer, 2 runs batted in. Here's the pitch. Buck goes after it, hits a high fly ball. Coming in for it is Burroughs, going out as a shortstop. Rocket, he traps, and he has to take the throw to the plate. De Jesus had no chance at all as Pat Rocket went out and grabbed that ball in shallow left field. So one away for Bobby Mercer. Runner still at first and third. Rocket made a very fine catch in the first inning last night on Mercer. Raced way out down the left field foul line and made an over-the-shoulder running catch. And that ended the threat in the first inning. Washington Bullets in NBA play today lead Philadelphia 26-19 at the end of the first quarter. First pitch to Bobby, and he takes it high, ball 1. Bots continued to get behind. Mercer, 1 for 8 here. Hit a couple of good shots last night, including that one to left and a hard drive to right field, but both were caught. He's hitting .257 for the year. Left-hander swings on that inside pitch and fouls it. In and out of the Atlanta Braves dugout on the first base side. That levels the count at 1-1. Tommy Bott, 22-year-old right-hander. And Burroughs opposite Esselstein in the outfield and left, center, and right. They're playing Mercer to pull. Infield set for a double play ball. Here's the pitch. Too high again. Ball 2, strike 1. Joe Malfitano, hopefully he's going to be back in the third base coach's box and in good health when the Cubs open up the homestand Tuesday against the National League defending champion Dodgers. 2-1, delivery on its way. Swung on, ground ball, right side. Gets by the first baseman, takes up for the second baseman, close to second one. Relay not in time. And Jesus scores the first run of the day. And the ball going into the Atlanta dugout. And Mercer will be on at second base. They got the force at second on Greg Gross. But Bobby, gets credit for his 13th run batted in this year on the fielder's choice.
No, error. Who? 6. It's got to be 6.
Good Lord. Rocket, shortstop, made the throw back to first base into the dirt, and they can't charge the pitcher, Boggs, who was covering with that error. It has to be an error on the throw.
The ball was into the dirt. They can't figure Boggs to make the play. He was there.
Well, I think they'll probably change it. For a moment, it looked like the ball was going to go into the hole into right field. It got by Murphy, but Royster, back on the outfield grass on that right side, managed to get a glove on it. Made a good force at second. Now Oliveira stepping in with 2 gone, and he took that first one for a ball. That one's a breaking pitch that's in for a strikeout, Steve. He has only 1 hit here and 7 at bat. And was 1 for 11 at Philadelphia, so he's not having a good road trip. 2 runs batted in for the year. Batting lefty, he swings and fouls that pitch out of play. Ball 1, strike 2. Let's pause a moment for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
There would be the Braves' 20th of the year. Even though they charged it against the pitcher, I'm going to write it down against the shortstop. Let's see if they change it. See, he fouled that one off his foot. He's limping around a little bit. Now he's ready. Bothered with a bad back this season. Really hampered him. The look at second, the pitch. Fastball very high. Ball 2, strike 2 on Steve. With 2 out, a runner at second base. The Cubs have taken the lead, 1-0. There's Tommy Boggs. Young right-hander's been on the wild side. There's the pitch swung out and fouled, back out of play. President of the ball club, Ted Turner, sitting right down here at the edge of the Atlanta Braves dugout, nearest home plate. Rocky has one of his sons there with him. Out of 2-2 on Otaveras, wearing number 16, choking up in the bat maybe a couple of inches or so. Bends from the waist. Right-hander in the hill, looks at second, delivers. Fastball in too tight. Ball 3, strike 2 with 2 away. The inning opened with DeJesus getting a base on ball. Gross on a 3-2 pitch, singled into left field. DeJesus going to third. He had to hold as Buckner popped up. But tallied on Mercer's force play on the infield, and there's a swing and a miss for strike 3 on a breaking ball down and in on Otaveras. First 2 men get on, but only 1 run tallies on a hit and an error. 1 man left in the bases. So at the end of a half inning, Cubs still struggling as far as getting runs are concerned, but at least they're on the board. It's better than they did last night against Phil Necro. Atlanta coming to bat against Dennis Lamp. The Cubs with a 1-0 lead. Brown first base.
So you do want that?
I'll have that.
You got it.
Brown first base. Just saw Nakahoma. Now they got a whisper him, and he's gone back up into that teepee that sits up in the seat they have behind the left field wall. Little princess up there was standing with her arms folded on the little balcony they have, surveying the scene while he went in to tidy up with the work frill. He leaves the war bonnet pinned to the outside of that teepee. They used to put it right behind the left field fence. I understand that he was even holding out for more money this year. Don't know whether he got it or not. Jerry Royster, who sits safely in 6 straight games into this series, 5 for 9, is going to lead off against Dennis Lamp to see if he can keep him off the bases. Last half dozen games, he's hit the ball at a .386 clip, boosting his batting average up for the season to .338. As a homer, driven in a couple of runs. Dennis's earned run average as a result of that outing against Philadelphia on this road trip has soared up over 5. Right-hander delivers the first pitch, a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1. And Royster, with his stolen base here last night, has 11, 1 more than Omar Marino to lead the National League. There's the strike called, 1-1. San Francisco with 2 runs in the first inning at Pittsburgh, but the Pirates picked up 1 in the bottom of the inning and 1 in the bottom of the second, so it's tied 2-2 in the bottom of the third at Pittsburgh. There's the strike. Ball 1, strike 2 on Royster. Dennis's 1 victory, of course, is shutout. First in the major leagues, his first victory. Worked a little bit against Atlanta last year after the Cubs brought him up late in the season. There's a swing on a breaking ball away, and he drives a foul ball into the picnic area down the right field foul line. Manny Sanguillen got a home run for his Pittsburgh teammates this afternoon off left-hander Bob Knepper, the Giants. July 11 going for the Pirates. Philadelphia now leading San Diego 3-2 in the bottom of the third at Philly. Jones and Lurch in that one. Here it's 1-0 Cubs. Lamp 6-6 swung on, bouncing ball to Manny Creel at second. He's got it. Sidearm toss over to Buckner at first base, and Royster is kept off. That brings up left-handed hitting center fielder Roland Office. 2 for 2 in this one. They're going to give Dennis an assist on that as he deflected the ball barely. Office with a homer, and accounted for his only run batted in so far this season. Halftime, Washington now leads the Philadelphia 76ers in that NBA play in the semifinals, 73-66. First pitch. Left-hander takes the fastball a little bit low for ball one. Lamp in the windup, the big fellas. Next pitch slug on. Ground ball to Buckner. Gets it on one hop. Waves Lamp away. Has an unassisted put out. Bases empty, two gone. That'll bring up left-hander hitting Brian Esselstein. We're going to run in this first game of this series. Giving him 2 for the season. Had a couple of hits here Friday night. Is batting .310 now for the year. Gary Matthews figures to be a fixture in the outfield. Says he is recovering quicker than he had expected from the shoulder separation he suffered early in the year out of Los Angeles. But he's still on the disabled list. First pitch is a curve low, ball one. Wind up by Lamp. Strike called in the inside corner to Belt. This left-hander. Pete Ward coaching at first base. Tommy Burgess over at third. 1-1 pitch. Picks something off of it. He swings. Bounces it foul over in front of the Atlanta Braves dugout. Rolls out to a pretty little ball girl down the right field foul line. Mike Flanagan going for the Orioles. Chicago today. 1 win, 3 losses. Francisco Barrios, 1-1 for the Sox. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Ground ball to Jesus. Backhands it going to his right. Braces. Long throw. He's got him by a couple of steps. A nice play by the Cubs shortstop, Ivan de Jesus, and they go down in order. So at the end of 1 in Atlanta this afternoon, the Cubs go to bat, leading the Braves 1-0.
Friends, right now is the time to test drive a 78 Cutlass. Why? Well, because right now, with over 4,000 available in Chicagoland, you can choose the color and options you want with immediate delivery at your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer. Now, when you test drive the 78 Cutlass, you'll discover how the new trimmer size makes for smooth riding, easier handling, and inside feel the comfort and enjoy the space because there's more headroom and legroom than ever. Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Test drive the 78 Cutlass. You'll discover what a pleasure it is.
Before Manny Trio steps in, I'd remind you that we got a big weekend coming up at Wrigley Field with the San Francisco Giants. They'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Saturday and Sunday are very special days, you kids. Mom and Dad have been promising to shake you out at Wrigley Field. Tell me you want to go next Saturday or Sunday. Jacket giveaway weekend. You not only get to see the Cubs play the Giants, you get a free baseball jacket. It has the Cub emblem on the front. It's similar, that emblem is, to the one worn by the Cubs players on their uniforms. Tell you how to qualify for that free jacket Saturday or Sunday next week in a moment. Here's the first pitch to Manny. He swings on a fastball, hits a high foul, it's out of play, first base side. To qualify for the free jacket, one, you have to be among the first 15,000 youngsters with fully paid admission. Now, bleacher tickets are not included. Two, you have to be 13 or under. That's Saturday or Sunday next weekend at Wrigley Field, the Cubs and the San Francisco Giants jacket giveaway. Fastball. Trio takes it in too close. 1-1. Manny 1 for 7 here and had only 1 hit in 9 trips at Philadelphia. So his batting average has shrunk down to 259. Driven in 4 runs for the year. Box fastball swung on. A fly ball to Burrows in left field. He's going back. It's well hit. Going back. Grabs it one-handed on the warning track just before he gets to that 6-foot-high open fence. Well hit. Butlers went away. And that brings up Dave Rader. 0 for 5 here in Atlanta. Day's batting average now stands at 246 for the year. Driven in 5 runs. Tommy John is scheduled to pitch the opener for the Dodgers at Wrigley Field on Tuesday. Doug Rowell on Wednesday and Rick Roden on Thursday. That's to throw the curve, and it doesn't break too high. Ball 1 to Rader, left-hander. John, Rowell, and Roden, their combined records this year aren't too bad. There's another breaking ball that's high and inside, ball 2. They have 110. None of the 3 has suffered a defeat this year. 2-0 pitch. Fastball. And he misses high with that one. 3-0 now. And Boggs struggling just as he did in the first inning when he walked Ivan de Jesus. Ran a full count on Gross, who singled on that next pitch, driving Ivan over to third. He was able to come in on a fielder's choice off the bat of Mercer, and there is ball 4, and he's missed with 4 straight. It's to Dave Ritter. 1 out. Runner on. Here is Joe Wallace. 1 for 4 here. Huskily built, switch-hitting center fielder. Trying his best to nail down that center field berth. It's been occupied by him, by Gross, by Cruz, by Klein. Who's going to wind up with it, huh? Joe for the year has 6 for 15, a 400 average with a run batted in, and that won a ball game last Sunday for the Cubs. He swings at the first pitch and fouls it back, right up against that high net behind the plate. Strike 1 count on him. He's batting lefty, of course, against Tommy Boggs. 22-year-old right-hander. 22-year-old first baseman for the Braves, Dale Murphy, holding Rader on. Here's the pitch. Low. Ball 1, strike 1. Very young ball club. But it was the Graybeard, Phil Niekro, did such a magnificent job against the Cubs last night for a shutout victory, his 180th in his career. Fastball, it's too low. Ball 2, strike 1. Texas Rangers certainly come to life. Won 5 in a row, and Texas has posted wins in 6 out of its last 7 ball games. Well, the Red Sox have been having problems. They've lost 4 out of their last 5. Here's a swing by Joe, and he lifts a high fly ball to Burrows in left field. He'll have it easily. Makes the catch. Rader gets on back to first base, and they're 2 gone. Air kind of heavy here this afternoon. High humidity. Dennis Lamp, 0 for 8 as a hitter this year. Checking down there with Lowry, coaching at third. He just has his thumb stuck into the belt of those trousers. Doesn't even look at him. In other words, hit it if you can. Here's the pitch. Well, he tried. He swung, and he bounced one foul over to De Jesus, who just bunted it back to the catcher. Nice bat control. Cubs with a 1-0 lead, batting in the top of the second inning here at Atlanta. With a runner on at first base, 2 gone, and the pitcher, Dennis Lamp, in the batter's box. Big kid. He swings, and there's a drive in right field, and he's got himself a base hit. There's Rader around his way to third. Right fielder makes that throw in there, and he slides, and he's in safely. Brian Esselstein from near the foul line. Whistled one in right of the money. But Dennis Lamp has his first hit of the year. And that brings up Ivan de Jesus. Let's see if the Cubs can cash in on this opportunity. After the Cubs, their second hit of Tommy Boggs. He's walked 2 men so far today. One of them, Ivan, who has scored the Cubs' first run. Group of Cubs fans around that dugout over there at the 315th Field Depot from Chicago. Stationed at Fort McMullen, Alabama. Curveball swung out. He pulls one down the left field side. Gets by everybody into left field, and the Cubs have a second run to go here this afternoon. Ivan de Jesus pulling the breaking ball. Drives in his 5th run of the season. 2-0 Cubs. Lamp stopping at second base. Vaughn now 5 for 10 here in Atlanta. So with 2 out and a man on, Dennis Lamp helped his own cause with an opposite field line single. Now he's on at second base, and Yvonne on at first. And Greg Rose stepping in, singled to left field in the first inning. And he's 4 for 7 here. Lodge's first pitch comes over the top of it, caught the inside corner for a strike. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. 2-0 Cubs. Top of the second. Lodge kicks the runner at second. Delivers to Gross. Fastball taken for a strike inside corner at the belt. Most surprising team of all in baseball right now, the Oakland A's. They won again last night. Charlie Finley's crew, 15-5, leading the American League West by a game over Kansas City and California. His pitch. That's too high. Ball 1 strike 2. But playing the best baseball so far in the majors, the Detroit Tigers, who've won 13 and lost 4, they have a 3-game lead over Boston. 4.5 over the Yankees. Young Tiger Ball Club. 1-2 pitch. Goes after it. Fouls it back out of play. Broke down and in on Greg. Yvonne walking back to first base. Lamp back to second. The Cubs today, a half game behind the Philadelphia Phillies and Montreal, and 3 percentage points behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. Only a half game separates the Phils, Montreal, Pittsburgh, and the Cubs. Half game. 1-2 pitch, fastball in too close. 2-2. And the Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals are only 2.5 out. Very tightly packed Eastern Division. The Dodgers lead Cincy by a half game today. 4 over Houston and San Francisco. 5.5 over San Diego. 7 over Atlanta. That's a swing and a bouncing foul on the first base side. Boggs coming over the top with that one. And Greg Rose making him work. White Sox home to Baltimore this afternoon. 6-11 record and 7.5 games behind the Oakland A's. Game and a half behind fourth place Texas. And as I mentioned, Kansas City and California. 1 game behind the A's in that American League Western Division. 2-2 pitch. Curve misses low and inside. Boggs wants an appeal run as he thought Gross started to go after the ball and check his swing. Sun is trying to burn through the overcast here. With runners at first and second and 2 gone, a full count on the hitter, so Lamp and DeJesus lead off with this pitch. Boggs delivers, here they go. There's a swing and a foul. He came in with a fastball that's fouled back out of play. Mickey Mader, who had been up and throwing in the bullpen in the first inning, is repeating here in the second. Left-hander. Boggs rubbing up a new baseball, trying to get out of this second inning, which opened with Trio's hard-hit drive to Burrows in left field. That was followed by a walk. Water slide out. Lamp singles. And DeJesus has singled in a run. Here's the pitch. Swung on a well-hit drive. Deep right field. That ball is hit. Back goes Esselstein. It is gone. A 3-run homer for Greg Rose, his first of the year. The Cubs lead 5-0. Here he comes to the plate. Greeted by Dennis Lamp and by Ivan DeJesus. This is only the 9th homer by the Cubs as a team this year. Greg, who had a season high in homers last year, really nailed that one.
New line of venture is number 24, Mickey Miller.
Inside, Tommy Boggs up, and Mickey Miller is going to get the call. So in the second inning, Cubs who were shut out last night have a 5-0 lead, and we'll take a moment here. We have this delay in the action for this message.
Hello, honey, I'm home. What's for dinner?
Nothing.
What's for dessert? I never give up.
I don't want to set one foot in the
kitchen.
Don't use that word.
The appliance room? Stove place?
Kitchen will do.
Tell you what we're going to do.
What?
We're going to go to McDonald's and get you a sundae.
Honey, there's a sweet
Let us Sunday round out your meal at McDonald's.
Big Mac, fries, whatever you want.
I need a treat.
Smile.
Oh, you're going to take my picture?
No, I'm going to take your sundae.
McDonald's Sunday. Delicious vanilla swirls covered with your favorite topping.
And for dessert, we'd each like a sundae. Honey, you want hot fudge, hot caramel, or strawberry?
Yep.
What?
Thank you.
Which?
One of these.
She didn't mean that.
Ah.
You know, I love it when you don't cook.
A Sunday makes your whole meal shine. That great Sunday in a Sunday cover.
McDonald's does have Sunday.
Feed 'em up, feed 'em up, feed 'em up. Have McDonald's Sunday. We do it all for you.
We ought to do this more often.
Hey, you're on.
Let's fill the kitchen.
Oh, Mailer. Coming on in relief, the left-hander, big rangy guy, will face Buckner, Mercer. Who knows, maybe out of Bears. But there are 2 gone, bases empty. So Boggs, wild here today. KO'd in the 2nd inning. Greg Gross on his first homer of the year. Had 5 for the Cubs last season. Nader, big fellow delivers. Buckner swings at a fastball, fouls it out of play to the left side. Kind of a home run hitter's paradise here because of that low fence. It's only 6 feet high. 330 down the line. 385 to the foul rally. Sidearm delivery this time. And Buckner takes a slap at that one and fouls it back out of play. Strike 2 count on Buck and popped up in the first inning to the shortstop. Hope that Gross Lamp doesn't relax too much with that big lead, which he has contributed to with a single, and he has tallied a run. Baylor fires. Breaking ball. Buckner lays off, and it just missed away. Spelled M-A-H-L-E-R. Doghat. Wines delivers. Misses inside. Got a lot of motion. This is Baylor's 6th appearance, and he's 2nd against the Cubs in this series. Worked 5 of the 3rd innings, given up 4 hits. 2 runs, none earned. Big guy Wines delivers, sidearm pitch, fastball outside at the knees. He was out in front of Buckner. Now the count is 3-2. Wind up in the 3-2 delivery on its way. Here it is. Buck slaps the ground ball to the second baseman coming in his right through. He's got it. Throws almost threw it away. The big kid, Dale Murphy, runs out in a hurry. Used all the stretch he had there to keep the ball from going by him. So that retires the side, but the Cubs with 5 runs in the 2nd inning, their highest in an inning. I get too excited. 4 runs in the inning, 5 for the afternoon. Guys are high in an inning for this season. And a 3-run homer by Greg Gross, the big throw of the inning. 3 base hits and a walk in there. Nobody left on. Still, things are looking a little bit better at Atlanta as the Braves come to bat. Burroughs will be leading off. It's Cubs 5, Atlanta nothing.
My car engine knocks so bad it sounds like a riveting gun. Every time I accelerate, it's a pinging infuriated me.
Even tune-ups didn't help.
I'm a standard dealer, and they're talking about the knocking or pinging sound that car's engine sometimes makes when accelerating or pulling a heavy load. Some car owners actually want to retard the spark to keep the engine from knocking. What that does is waste gasoline. We'll get the car back in tune, and Amoco Premium Lead-Free is made to stop engine knock. If your car's in tune but still knocks, or keeps running after you turn off the key, it doesn't need engine work. It needs higher octane fuel, like Amoco Premium Lead-Free and the Gold Pump. If it doesn't have performance problems,
Use the Midwest best-selling lead-free Amoco in the blue pump. Hey, that Amoco Premium lead-free works like a charm.
No more knock.
One full tank made all the difference.
See your independent standard dealer for the lead-free choice. You expect more from a leader.
Jeff Burroughs, the hottest hitter in baseball right now. Not only has he batted safely in a half a dozen ball games, that's no outstanding feat, but in that score times, and he's going to get quite a hand that's well deserved. Burroughs had a bat officially 17 times, 14 hits, 8 runs batted in. Those hits include 4 doubles, 2 homers. He was perfect against the Cubs last night. The right-hander takes, and the first one is a ball too low. His league-leading batting average right now at .413. In addition to those 14 hits in those 6 games, there's a swing and a ground ball to DeJesus. He should nail it. Here's the toss over to Buckner, and Burroughs has kept off the bases. 4 ground balls so far. And the Braves have not been able to get to Dennis so far, but it's early. And Burroughs with 8 walks in addition to those 14 hits in the last half dozen ball games. Left-handed catcher Joe Nolan stepping in. Played Friday, was 0 for 4, and is 0 for 9 for the season. Bip Pocoroba, the regular catcher, still weak from a battle with the flu bug. Nolan crowds the plate. Feet close together. Here's the pitch to him. And it's a ball, a little bit low. Dale Murphy, an old young rookie in the on-deck circle. Lamp in the windup. It's a little high with a fastball. 3-0 now. Got a shutout, of course, at Wrigley Field against the Mets, the 4-hitter. He aims that one in there, and it's taken for a strike. 3-1 now. That was his first major league win. Friday, the 21st of this month. Right-hander delivers. There's a swing and a miss. Struck out only 1 that day against the Mets. Walked 3, but only 4 base hits. He ran into a shutout in his first start this year for the Cubs, thrown by a Swan of the Mets. Side pitch swung on, and he fouls it down the first base line. Ball 3, strike 2, and the left-hander hitting Joe Nolan. He ran into a peck of trouble in Philadelphia Tuesday night. Lasted only 2 innings. 3-2 pitch. Coming up to Nolan, here it is. Swung on, and a shot off the leg of the pitcher, and it's turned out into left field. A base hit for Joe Nolan, his first in 10 official trips this year. Buckner saying something to him down there at first base, smiling. Nolan smiling back through the glasses. That's what you call going up the middle. Dale Murphy, 6'5", 210. 2 for 8 in this series. Still struggling at the plate, and this is rookie year. Big, handsome kid hitting .191. Has a homer and 8 runs batted in. Playing at first base today. And he looks at a strike built high inside corner.
With a 5-run lead here against the Braves, I doubt where they'll run. But if they had a scout ahead of the series here, they would find out from Philadelphia that they run on Lamb.
Tries to check his swing on that pitch, and it's fouled out of play. Well, they had Wes Westrom, of course, as their advanced scout watching us in Chicago. One away, runner at first. 5-0 Cubs were in the second inning. Lamp's next pitch, a little bit low. Lamp a big kid, about 6'3", 6'4". And he does have a deliberate motion. Buckner is not holding Joe Nolan on at first base, playing off the bag. 1-2 pitch, swung on, a drive into right field, and it's going to drop in there, but it goes foul out of play. Thank heaven. Well, that could have gone for extra bases. A looping foul down the right field line off the bat of Big Dale Murphy. While he's coming back into the batter's box, let's take a moment for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
Like most of the young guys today, this kid wears his hair down as was, I guess, back in the early 50s. There's a swing and a deep drive left field, and is gone. Murphy just sailed one over the head of Greg Gross and over the left field wall. A 1-2 pitch, and it is now the Cubs 5 and Atlanta 2. Murphy's second home run, and he's getting a standing ovation as he comes up the line to step on the plate. That ball jumps off his bat. About every year, there are more homers hit here at this ballpark than anywhere in the majors. Barry Bonnell steps in. He's playing at third base today. Started there the other night. Last night started in center field, a right-hander, and he takes Lance's first pitch of ball low and inside. That's homer number 3 this year off Dennis. Wind up the pitch. High with that one. Ball 2. Bonnell batting just .203 for the season. 1 hit in 6 trips to the plate against the Cubs. Right-hander deep in the batter's box in a wide stance. Here's the pitch. Hot one in there for a strike call. Well, the Mets have jumped out in front of Cincinnati again today. They lead 4-0 over the Reds. Pat Zachary used to be with Cincy. Pitching for New York, a swing and a ground ball down to Barris, takes a step, makes the fitness, or Buckner rather. Barry Bonnell is out of there. Grounder to third brings up Pat Rocket, the shortstop, who's 1 for 7 in the first 2 games against the Cubs, and hitting just .107 for the year with a couple of runs batted in. At the end of 4, San Francisco 3, the Pirates 3. First pitch, and it's a strike. Dodgers and St. Louis, 0-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Dodgers were shut out on a 4-hitter there last night. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, bouncing ball. DeJesus charging in. He gloves it just high hop, takes quickly, and he's got him to retire the side. So there are 3 groundouts in the inning, but in between, a single by Nolan, followed by Dale Murphy's second homer of the year. And the Braves are back in the ball game. Nobody left on. At the end of 2 in Atlanta, the Cubs come to bat. It is the Cubs 5 and the Braves 2.
General Finance, friendly Bob Adams.
Danny Breen here, Bob. I'm calling from the Clam and Yam restaurant.
What's all the commotion?
Oh, well, my mother-in-law's a dead ringer for a movie star, Bob.
Really?
Yeah, everywhere we go, people start screaming.
Must be an amazing resemblance. Who does she
Last
look
night,
like?
some guy tried to put his hairy paws on her.
Oh, boy, who did
So,
she...
Bob, can I get a medical loan?
Who, she got hurt?
No, Mom agreed to some minor cosmetic surgery just to change her look.
Well, I'm sure we can arrange a medical loan, but,
Maybe she'll come out looking like Raquel or Farrah, or I'd even settle for Lassie.
which movie star does she look like?
Did you ever see the movie King Kong?
I'll get started in that loan, Dan.
Thanks, Bob.
You can always get a little help
Bob, get off the piano.
from a friend at General Finance.
There are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. Call General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 32020. Also, an office in Fox Lake.
In Chicago today, Baltimore leading the Sox 1-0 at the end of 1 inning of play. Yankees 2, Minnesota 0. That's at the end of 2. Well, it looks like we better get a few more runs on the board here, Lou. You never have enough runs in this ballpark.
Mercer will lead off the 3rd inning. Both home runs were hit off of curveballs, and Gross with a 3-2 2 pitch. That's what type of hitter he is. He hits what he sees, and he saw a curveball and planted it out of this ballpark for a 3-run home run. Mercer swings, hits a foul ball. That one was fouled by about 3 feet down the right field line. Comes out in front, 5-2. We're in the 3rd inning. Mercer, Ontiveros, and then Trio here against Mailer, the southpaw. High inside, 1-1 to count. Mercer at the present time hitting .254. Curveball inside, he jumps back away from it. Ball 2, strike 1. Here's the southpaw's 2-1 pitch, a fastball swing, a fly ball, deep into the corner, stay fair. The right fielder, Esseltine, goes into the corner, out of our view, to make 1 to count. Mercer at the present time hitting .254. Curveball inside, he jumps back away from it. Ball 2, strike 1. Here's the southpaw's 2-1 pitch, a fastball swing, a fly ball, deep into the corner, stay fair. The right fielder, Esseltine, goes into the corner, out of our view, to make the catch. A very fine running catch by the right fielder, and once again, Mercer is robbed of a base hit. That kid never gave up on the ball, went right into the corner, full speed, reached up, caught the ball one-handed. 1 out, here's Ontiveros. It looked as if Mercer was going to get an extra base hit. A fine defensive play by Esseltine. Now here's the first pitch to Ontiveros. Outside ball 1. Ontiveros batted left-handed in the first inning against Boggs and struck out. Now he's batting right-handed against the southpaw Mailer. Swinging a ground ball to shortstop. It takes a bad hop over the shoulder of Rocket into left center. It's a dangerous position out there for those bad hops. So Ontiveros gets a base hit, and he needs them. Get him started. You'll see a different Cub attack. First hit off Mailer. A bad hop single over the shortstop shoulder in the left center. Now with 1 out, here's Trio at bat. Isn't this a strange game? Mercer hits one 300 feet into the corner. Looks like it's going to be a double. And the kid makes a fantastic catch. Here's a swing and a foul by Trio. Then Ontiveros hits a ground ball, a normal ground ball to the shortstop. It hits a pebble and jumps over his shoulder for a base hit. So it's not how you hit him. It's where you hit them. Pick those pebbles in that infield. And that's a lousy infield out there also. Trio with a strike called on him. Trio lined out to Burris, first time at bat. The pitch. Swinging a ground ball to the shortstop Rocket. Tosses it to Royster. To first, a double play. Those kids handle the ball very cleanly around second base. That is their 13th double play. Closes out the 3rd inning for the Cubs. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left on base. And now with Atlanta coming to bat in the 3rd inning, Cubs lead 5-2.
Fans, when it comes to mowing your lawn, True Value Hardware stores can put you in command. They're offering the Jacobson 21-inch self-propelled mower with exclusive Pace Command for just $199.88. Now with Pace Command, you can choose separate speeds for cutting and walking.
3-run lead. He will face Mailer, the pitcher, and then the top of the order, Royster and Offutt, here in the 3rd inning. Hey, if you're 65 or older, Tuesday is your Good News Day. Senior Citizens Day at Wrigley Field. All fans 65 and older can get general admission tickets for the reduced price of $1. That's right, comfortable sheltered seats for only $1. Or use the $2 discount allowance permitted senior citizens on box or reserve seats. Now remember, more than 12,000 general admission bleacher seats go on sale at the ballpark the morning of the game. This message is furnished by the Chicago Cubs. Naylor bats left-handed. The sun peeking through the overcast sky here in Atlanta. Here's the first pitch by Lamb. Fastball for a strike call. Runge, the plate umpire. Engel at first, Dale at second, McSherry at third. Cubs lead 5-2. Swing and a miss, strike 2 on Naylor. 0-2 the count. Swing and a tap to the shortstop. Jesus charges it, gets it on a nice hop, throws to Buckner, 1 out. There hasn't been a fly ball hit to the outfield thus far, except if you want to count Murphy's fly ball, line drive, over Gross's head, now the ballpark for a home run. Cubs have 5 runs on 5 hits. Atlanta 2 runs on 2 hits. 2 big blows in this ball game. Gross's 3-run home run for the Cubs. Murphy's 2-run home run for the Braves. And now here's Royster, the speedster at bat. First pitch by Lamp. Curveball, pop foul down the right field line. Buckner limping as he chases it, but it's out of play. And a nice catch made by a fan in the third row. Strike 1 to Royster. This fella, as Vince has mentioned, has 6-game hitting streak. Leads the league in stolen bases with 11. He's been getting on base. But the Braves having trouble scoring runs. Swing a line drive to right field, right to Mercer. He dances a little bit, then is right in front of it for the out. Ball is hit well, but right to Mercer. Braves are only batting .238. It'll be quite a struggle. The Cubs are batting .237. Cubs have 8 home runs. Braves have 10. Stolen base department, there's quite a difference. Braves have 17. Cubs have 7. Now here's Office at bat. Outside on a let-up ball 1, and it's getting quite dark now here in Atlanta. We're in the 3rd inning. At the end of 3 quarters, it's Philadelphia coming back, leading Washington 81-77 in NBA basketball. There was some talk in the papers that the Philadelphia 76ers might be a little stale. They had a complete week's rest waiting for Washington to beat San Antonio in their series, the first series. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside, ball 2, strike 1. 2 outs, nobody on base. Office the hitter. Cubs leading 5-2. Cubs hoping to go home to Wrigley Field tonight with a victory. Here's the pitch on its way. Swing and a ground ball to second baseman, and Trio has it on a high hop. Throws to Buckner for the out. So the Braves go down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. At the end of 3 complete innings of play, Cubs 5, Braves 2.
You know, big league trades often come as a surprise to ball players, especially to the established old pro who may have been resting on his laurels. But sometimes a change of scene is good for a player, and a new face in the lineup is just the tonic a lethargic ball club needs. Of course, when it comes to beer, it's safe to say there's one trade you'll never make. Because once you experience the great light taste of Heilmann's Old Style beer, you'll sign a lifetime contract. Old Style is a hit right off the bat because it's brewed with water that flows sparkling pure from deep underground springs. With water like this, when you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, then you've got a great light beer. This double brewing, pure brewing, is an old world process known as poisoning. It's the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Try Old Style. pure brewed in God's country.
In the fourth inning, Cubs will send Rader, Wallace, and Lamp to plate. Rader walked against Boggs, who started this ball game and lasted 1 2/3 innings. Now Rader will have to face the southpaw Mailer. We're in the top of the fourth inning. The left-hander into the windup. Here's the pitch. Fastball pops up down the line. Rocket, the shortstop, moves behind the third baseman and gloves it one-handed. Tim Singleton has just hit a home run at Comiskey Park with a man on. Baltimore now leads the White Sox 4-0 at the end of 2.5. Got to get that White Sox power started, the same as somebody better ignite the Cubs power. Perhaps when we get back to Wrigley Field, it will be ignited. Wallace at bat, flied out to first in the first inning, batting left-handed against Boggs. Now he's batting right-handed against Mailer, the southpaw. First pitch, curveball low, ball 1. Mailer, the long man in Bobby Cox's bullpen today. A good fastball popped up by Wallace to Murphy, the first baseman, as Mailer hit Wallace right on the fist with that fastball. 2 out, and here's Dennis Lamb. And even though Grosser's hit was an important one and a big hit, this youngster, in my opinion, got the biggest hit of the second inning with 2 outs when he lined a single over Murphy's head, which gave De Jesus and Gross an opportunity to bat. Here's the first pitch by Mailer. Fastball right down the middle, strike 1. Lamp levels that bat over the plate. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul. He was out for that one. Hits it in the Cubs dugout. That's quite a feat. But he did it. He was way out from that curveball. The pitch. Curveball swing, and there's one hit past Rocket, the shortstop, for a base hit. So Lamp gets his second hit of the 78 season. Second hit off Mailer, 6th hit for the Cubs. Youngster Mailer won 1 and lost 2 last year with Atlanta. He had a 13-10 record at Richmond. He led the league in strikeouts there with 86 strikeouts in 89 innings. 6'3", weighs 189. First pitch to Jesus, he takes a bunt, takes the pitch. Murphy ran into Lamp, charging in just in case De Jesus was going to push that ball down to the first baseline. Engel's talking to Murphy, saying, "Did you see that man there? Here's a check swing, and it's 1-1 now." Big Murph almost ran over Dennis Lamp, the base runner. He's playing behind him with 2 outs. Cubs leading 5-2. De Jesus takes high. Ball 2, strike 1. Mailer, the southpaw, of course, looks right directly to the base runner when he takes his stretch. Here's the pitch to De Jesus. Outside, ball 3. 3-1 now to De Jesus. Gross due up next. Gross stroking that ball very nicely, hoping to gain a regular burst in that outfield. There's a strike called, and it's 3-2. De Jesus was taking all the way. Three and two outs. They're not paying any attention to Lamp. There goes Lamp. Here's the pitch. There's one hit deep to left center. Office going way back on the warning track, reaches up, makes the catch. DeJesus flies out deep to office in center field. In the fourth inning for the Cubs, no runs, one hit, one man left on base. Braves come to bat, fourth inning. Cubs 5, Braves 2.
Hello, honey, I'm home. What's for dinner?
Nothing.
What's for dessert? I never give up.
I don't want to set one foot in this
Kitchen.
Don't use that word.
The appliance room? Stove place?
Kitchen will do.
Tell you what we're going to do.
What?
We're going to go to McDonald's and get you a sundae.
Honey, this is sweet great
Let us send you round out to a meal at McDonald's.
Big Mac, fries, whatever you want.
I need a treat.
Smile.
Oh, you're going to take my picture?
No, I'm going to take your sundae.
Oh, McDonald's Sunday. Delicious vanilla swirls covered with your favorite topping.
And Hayes was in Chicago and took down notes as to how the Mets were pitching, what the Cubs did on defense. Weston did not follow them to Philadelphia. In fact, I didn't see him in Philadelphia when Danny Ozark, from the first man on base, started running against Dennis, and it upset Dennis. They were hitting and running and stealing. They stole 4 bases in the time that Lamp was on the mound. Thus far, he's only had 1 base runner. On first, the infield hit by Nolan, and he scored in front of Murphy's home run. It's getting so now in modern baseball that they disregard the score. If they can steal, they're going to steal. Cubs tried to steal last night, trailing 5-0. Now here's Esselstein, who made that great running catch off Mercer in right field. He's going to lead off the 4th inning for the Braves. First pitch by Lamp. Fastball, a swing, and a ground ball. A Buckner hits off the Buckner's glove. The trio throws to Lamp, covering first too late. This infield, as I mentioned, is a rough one. They do not bounce through. And when they do bounce on that dirt, let me tell you, they take overspin. We've had 1 bad hop single already for the Cubs. This one hopped quickly off of the glove of Buckner, who's usually sure of those type of ground balls, and it's an error on Buckner, so each team now with 1 error. Now here's Burroughs at bat, grounded out to the shortstop in the 2nd inning. Cubs 5, Atlanta 2. Burroughs leading this team with 11 RBIs. Murphy now right behind him with 10. Throw to first. Esselstein gets back safely. Cubs play Burroughs straight away and deep in all positions. The stretch. Keeps an eye on the runner. The pitch. Inside fastball. Ball 1. And if you're going to pitch this man inside, you have to give him a little extra to keep that ball in on his fist so he cannot get that big part of the bat around. And he's a strong man at the plate. He'll go to right, and he'll pull. He swings, taps that ball down to third base by fair ball. Ontiveros has it. 1 play to first, in time to get Burris. Esselstein goes to second. He was hit on the 5th with that good fastball, and he has dribbled it down the line. Ontiveros making the play. Now here's Nolan, the catcher, left-handed hitter. Infield hit when he shot a wicked ground ball through the box that went off of Lamp's foot past DeJesus, who was moving to the left to field the ball, and it went into left field. The stretch by Lamp. He checks the runner at second. Here's the pitch. Low into the dirt, knocked down by Rader. Ball 1. Both managers, Herman Franks and Bobby Cox, platoon a great deal. They'll go according to who is pitching, whether it is a right-hander or a left-hander. Gives everybody a chance to play. There's a strike called over the outside corner. 1-1 to count with 1 out. Esselstein on second base. Cubs lead 5-2. Lamp takes off one time. Now he's ready. Takes too much time. No one steps out of the batter's box. Once the pitcher shakes off a sign and comes back shaking his head yes, it upsets the concentration of that batter. And 9 out of 10 of them will step out of the batter's box.
Now we're set. Pickoff play at second base. He's safe. He dove back and just got there ahead of tag. And that probably was the sign that the catcher was given. Herman Frank lets his catcher give the pickoff sign, not the shortstop or the second baseman. So that was the sign that Lamp didn't realize it was in the book. He took it off, but Rader came right back with it. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a low fastball, a sinker. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Esselstein on second base. He reached first on the air by Buckner. Went to second when Burroughs grounded out. Now here's the 1-2 pitch to Nolan. Low, too low. He wouldn't chase that one. And it's 2-2. San Diego has tied up Phillies 4-4. San Francisco leads Pittsburgh 3-2. No score in St. Louis yet. Here's the pitch. Let up. And it's too low, just below the knees. And it's a full count on Nolan. If Nolan reaches, the tying run would be in the person of Murphy waiting in the on-deck circle. Lamp set. 3-2 pitch now to Nolan. On its way. Swing, ground ball to shortstop. DeJesus takes a look at Esselstein. Going to third. Cannot get him, but throws to first in time to get Nolan. So Esselstein is on third now for Murphy. Murphy got his second home run in 78 with Nolan on first in the second inning.
Well, speaking of homers, Davy Johnson has just hit a grand slammer for the Philadelphia Phillies in the 5th inning, and they have taken a 9-4 lead over San Diego at the end of 5.
First pitch to Murph. Low, ball 1. Big Murph. Destined to be an outstanding star in the majors by Bobby Cox. He says he can play first, he can catch, and do a fine job in both positions. Ball 2, no strike. And the way this kid has been swinging the bat, they'll find a spot for him. There's a strike called, a good sidearm pitch. That's the first time that Lamp has dropped his arm to come sidearm. Like to see him do that a few more times against fellas like Burroughs and Murphy. 2-1 pitch. Curveball outside. 3-1. Barnell due up next. Braves with a runner on third, 2 out. We're in the 4th inning. The pitch on its way to Murphy. It's low, outside, ball 4. Looks like Lamp didn't want any part of Murph. Murph hit his curveball out of this ballpark in the second inning. Now, Bunnell, who grounded out to Tavares. First time at bat, steps into the batter's box. The Braves have the tying run at the plate. Johnny Moore starts warming up for the Cubs. Here's the pitch. Takes the bunt, takes the pitch low. Ball 1. So Lamp having a little trouble with control. Adrian Devine, a right-hander, warming up for the Braves. So the bullpens are busy. Here's the pitch. Swing and a ground ball on Tavares. He has it. Will go to first. In time, 3 out. In the 4th inning, Braves threaten but do not score. No runs, no hits. 1 error in the inning, 1 walk in the inning. 2 men left on base. At the end of 4 complete innings of play, it's the Chicago Cubs 5, Atlanta Braves 2.
I'll handle this, Carol. It's our first new car, and this salesman is going to come at us like a ton of bricks.
But the sign says we make car buying a pleasure again.
I don't care what the sign says. Hi, can I help you? See, Carol? Patronizing.
We're interested in the Cutlass.
I don't blame you. freshness already.
Can we look around for a while? I'm not sure about color or equipment.
Listen, just take your time. If you have any questions or you want some help, I'll be right here.
Now he's ignoring us, Carol.
Jack, that salesman is a pleasure to deal with.
Well, he won't be here when we need him. Watch.
Yes, sir?
Nice place you have here.
Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today. Find out how we can make car buying a pleasure for you. Before the Cubs come to bat here in the fifth inning in Atlanta, and Greg Gross, who has a single and a three-run homer, is going to be leading off. To bring you up to date on other action, Baltimore and Ken Singleton's three-run homer in the third, taking a 4-1 lead over the Sox. Going into the fourth, Kansas City leading Milwaukee 1-0 in the second at KC. Yankees 2, Minnesota 0 in the fifth inning at Minnesota. Boston, Texas scoreless in the bottom of the second. And in the National League, Phillies now batting in the bottom of the sixth with a 9-4 lead over San Diego. Oh, in a moment, here's left-handers. First pitch of fastball in too close to Gross. Ball one. Dodgers, who were shut out at St. Louis last night, have not scored in the first 4 innings this afternoon against John Urea. No score, bottom of the fourth at St. Louis. Ball in too tight at the knees. Markell hit a 2-run homer for the Giants at Pittsburgh in the top of the sixth inning. Lileman has been taken out. Bruce Keeson now pitching for the Pirates. And the Giants leading 5-3 at Pittsburgh going into the seventh. Sidearm delivery in too close again above the knees. 3-0. Montreal and Houston, 0-0 in the second inning. Here are the Cubs with a 5-2 lead, and Gross takes the fastball, a strike on the inside corner. Ball 3, strike 1 on Gregg. Singled in the first inning and hit a 3-run homer in the second. Had 5 homers last year, first year in the majors for him to have any. He takes, and there is a strike. The count is full, 3-2. Let's see what he can do on this pitch. Mailer in the windup. Big left-hander delivers. Gross swings, he's handcuffed by it, bounces it down to the second baseman. Royster took a high hop, but he stayed with it, and there's one away. That'll bring up Buckner. Before he stepped in, let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network. This is WGN Radio, Chicago. After that ground ball, Buckner, before stepping in, asked plate umpire Paul Runge to check it out. Oh, this is it. All right. We'll keep it in there. This is all right. Maybe I can hit it. So far, he's popped up and grounded out to the second baseman today. Bounced out against Baylor. Delivers a first pitch. He tries to bunt. Fouls it back out of play. Bonnell, the third baseman, was playing him pretty deep, and he still is, and he's way off the third base foul line. Vince Lloyd here with you at Atlanta Stadium. Cubs with a run in the first and 4 in the second. And Murphy, their first baseman, a 2-run homer for them off Dennis Lamb. Wind up the pitch. Fastball, low and inside. Twist out of the way. Ball 1, strike 1. Rick Russell is scheduled to go against Tommy John of the Dodgers Tuesday in Chicago. Lifts up on that pitch, a breaking ball that misses low. Ball 2, strike 1. The pitcher is running behind in that New York-Cincinnati game at Shea Stadium. 2-1 pitch. He has to lean way back and almost does a cartwheel getting out of the way of that one. 3-1. And once more, the sun is coming out. One away, bases empty. Here's the pitch. Swung out, a well-hit fly ball deep to right field. Brian Esselstein back. He's got room, and he grabs it. Just in front of the warning track and in front of the 385-foot bar. A long out. Bases empty. Mercer stepping in. Robbed of what appeared to be an extra base hit by Esselstein and went down into the corner near the wall in the third inning when Mercer led off, and he made a fine one-handed running catch. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning, and a fine play by Royster, the second baseman, to keep that ball from going into the outfield. It brought in DeJesus with the first run of the day. And for Mercer, his 13th run batted in this season. Bader, 25 years of age, southpaw. Working in relief delivers. Mercer looked up, almost hit by that breaking ball way inside. They're playing him to pull. And the infield is shaded around and deep for him. 1-0 pitch, goes to a breaking ball again, and he misses low and outside, 2-0. Davey Johnson, a grand slammer today for the Phils. Sidearm pitch. Caught the outside corner. Ball 2, strike 1. Bobby just one hit in 10 at-bats here, but he's hit the ball hard about 4 or 5 times in this series. Wide stance for him. He swings, gets under that one, lets a high foul first base side. Young Murphy going over near the boxes, and he can't get to it. It's into the picture area. If you're 65 or older, Tuesday is your Good News Day, Senior Citizens Day at Wrigley Field. Tuesday, all fans 65 and older can get general admission tickets for the reduced price of $1. Comfortable, sheltered seats only $1. Or use a $2 discount allowance permitted senior citizens on box or reserve seats. And remember, more than 12,000 general admission and bleacher seats will go on sale at Wrigley Field the morning of the game, as they do every morning. Message furnished by the Chicago Cubs, and some sunglasses furnished to Dale Murphy, their first baseman. Now he's set. And Mercer digs in again, levels the bat. Count on him, 2-2 with 2 on. The pitch swung out of us, a breaking ball and a beauty. And Mercer is fanned. First strikeout of the day by Mickey Miller. And the Cubs in the 5th have gone down in order. So the Braves come to bat. It'll be Pat Brockett, then the pitcher, unless we have a pinch hitter, and the top of the batting order. It is still the Cubs 5, the Atlanta Braves 2. Well, fans, the next time you have an appetite for fine Russian food, go directly to Zhivago at 500 West Diversey in Chicago and Carte Blanche. Zhivago is one of many fine restaurants in Chicago where your Carte Blanche card will allow you to spoil, indulge, and treat yourself to the kind of food nobody can make at home. You know, dinner always tastes a little better when you have it with style, with your Carte Blanche card. Because people know Carte Blanche denotes more than an average measure of distinction and taste. With a Carte Blanche card, you can travel with style, too. Sure, you can Carte Blanche your airline tickets, Carte Blanche your rented car, Carte Blanche your hotel bill. Keep your card with you wherever you go, and Carte Blanche your way through over 250,000 doors across the country, including Zhivago. Carte Blanche. You know you're going first class. So will everyone else. Pat Brockett is scheduled to lead off. We'll wait to see who's going to bat for Mickey Miller, the pitcher. Bobby Cox wants to go to his bench. Sun is shining brightly. Cubs will be going back to Chicago tonight after this ball game, and hopefully they'll wind up with a 500 mark on this road trip. They need a victory here this afternoon to accomplish that, and they could come home with a record of 11-9. A loss yesterday would drop them down to the 500 mark for the year. Rocket, a right-hander, grounded out in the second inning to DeJesus to retire the side against Dennis Lamb. Right-hander winds. Here's the pitch. Rocket swings. One hopper to Oliveris at third. He was playing him in close. Almost threw it too high, but Buckner stretches up, hauls it in, and there's one away in the bottom of the 5th inning. Baylor's going to bat for himself. 0 for 2 as a hitter this year. Lamp starts his windup. First pitch is the ball, a little bit too low. Dennis 6'3", 190. Born in Los Angeles. still lives out in California. There's the pitch swung on and a foul ball back out of play. End of 3.5. Baltimore leading the White Sox 4-1. Fastball by Dennis. Strike, call. Ball 1, strike 2. The left-hander hitting, switch hitting pitcher. Mailer, and of course he is batting lefty against Lamb. He delivers and misses outside, 2-2. Now that's a good sense of humor, an impressionist. What's up on that pitch? It's swung on at a high fly ball to the center fielder. Wallace with the sunglasses down is there. Joe makes it. 2 gone. That'll bring up the top of the batting order. Jerry Royster. That one sharply deflected by Dennis in the first period over to the second baseman trio. Mistake. Some plenty of time to retire him. Then he lined out to Mercer in the third inning. A lot of major leaguers. Dennis worked his way up from Little League, Pony League, Colt League, and American Legion baseball. Wears glasses, sports a beautiful mustache, gets his sign from Raider. Wide, here's the pitch. Fastball, in for a strike call. Made his debut with the Cubs in middle of August last year. Started 3 ball games and worked in relief in 8 others. Showed promise and earned a spot in the starting rotation out in Arizona. Throws the curve and it misses outside. So the count on Royster, who has a 6-game hitting streak coming into this action, is ball 1, strike 1. Lap wide, here's the delivery. Swung on at a high pop-up. Had him out in front of that one. Coming up the line, Steve Olivares, and he grabbed it about 10 feet in front of the plate to retire the Atlanta Braves in order in the 5th inning. Good motion on that one. So at the end of 5 in Atlanta, the Cubs will come to bat with Olivares leading off against Mickey Mailer, and the score is still the Cubs 5 and Atlanta 2.
General Finance, friendly Bob Adams. Fred Drips here, Bob, the man without a home.
Oh, what happened, Fred? Hurricane, fire?
Parents, Bob.
What?
They kicked me out of their house.
Their house?
Can you believe it, Bob? After 42 years.
Well, let's say...
So my wife and I will be needing a moving loan.
You both lived in the...
We're going to move in with her folks.
You sure you want to do that?
Oh, sure. They just love the baby girl.
Oh, that's nice.
They just think the 4 boys are loud.
No, boys will be boys.
These boys will be a rock band.
Must be very entertaining.
Oh, yeah. Shep and the 12 pups get so excited.
I better get to work in that moving loan. Where will you be living?
The south, the west, north.
How can you live in,
We'll go wherever her folks take their trailer.
I'll hurry that loan.
Oh, thanks, Bob.
You can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance. There are 70 General Finance Chicago area offices. Call General Finance's friendly Bob Adams to borrow up to $10,000. Call Andover 3-2020. General Finance also has an office in Joliet. Don't know what's happened to our telecommunications sticker service. That action at Shea Stadium in New York. About an hour ago, they had reported 2 innings of play in the game between the Reds and the Mets, and that's been it. Mets were leading 4-0 at the end of 2. The end of 7 in Pittsburgh, the Giants still leading the Pirates 6-3. Sanguin and Mark Hill, a former to that ball game. Sanguin, of course, for the Pirates and Hill for the Giants. Bob Depper has gone the distance so far for San Francisco, which will be in Chicago's Wrigley Field Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Later in the windup, the left-hander's first pitch, a fastball outside to Steve Olivares. Got a bad hop single his last time at bat. 1-0 delivery. Checks his swing, it misses away. Ball 2. Philly's still leading San Diego 9-4 that ball game, now in the 7th inning at Veterans Stadium, Philly. Fastball swung on, a hard one hopper into the glove of the third baseman, Barry Bonnell. He's got it, makes the peg to the tall first baseman, and he's got it. That ball may have taken a tricky little hop and caught the fingers of his bare hand down there in third. He's shaking him a little bit after making that throw. Well, Gilbreth has been sidelined in this series. He's got a sore shoulder. Watching him in infield today, he could throw, but not hard. Couldn't get enough on it. Bobby Cox decided to rest him another day. So after that hot smash to third, Manny Trio steps in with the bases empty, one away. Swings on a curve, and a two-bouncer off the catch of the third baseman. Scrambles, picks it up, throws. He still got him by a step. For a moment, Bunnell wasn't sure where that ball was. He looked to his left as it came off his chest, but it bounced to his right side, and fortunately for the third baseman, stayed in front of him. And he was still able to make a hard and quick throw to first base to nip Trio. Two gone. He was out in front of that curveball. Here's Dave Rader, who walked and scored. And the Jesus single in the second inning. He got to third with two away. Dennis Lamp on an 0-2 pitch, throwing a curveball, and he pulled it for a base hit, sending Rader to third. First pitch to him is a ball. Rader misses down low with that one, 2-0. Kansas City leading Milwaukee 1-0 at the end of 2. Yankees 2, Minnesota nothing at the end of 5. The Dodgers still have not scored at St. Louis today. That ball game in the 5th inning. There's a swing, well-hit drive, right field, but Esselstyn came in. Now he has to recover and go back a step and makes a one-handed catch. Boy, would he have been embarrassed. Ball hit a little bit harder than the right fielder thought it was, but he recovered and hauled it in. Fine drive. For the second straight inning, the Cubs have gone down in order. And Atlanta comes to bat. Bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 men in their batting order. And it's still the Cubs 5, Atlanta 2.
What is it?
The hash brown's patty. Hash brown.
Some people don't know McDonald's hash brown when they see one.
Golden hash brown, all a little funny looking. But one thing sure, they do go great with whatever we got cooking.
They are funny looking.
But they're delicious.
Well, I didn't ask delicious. I figured delicious. This is McDonald's.
Yes.
I'll have them.
Get ready to smile.
McDonald's hash browns, crisp and golden on the outside, tender on the inside.
It's like a world famous fry.
But still funny looking.
Served only at breakfast.
If you treat your lawn well this spring, it'll really grow on you this summer. Hi, Pat Summerall to explain. This spring, feed your lawn Scotch Turf Builder from True Value Hardware Stores. It'll provide a balanced, prolonged feeding, gradually releasing the proper nutrients to your lawn to develop sturdy root systems, so your lawn will grow thick and green, not just tall. So feed your lawn Scotch Turf Builder this spring and watch it grow on you this summer. You'll find Scotch Lawn products at participating True Value Hardware stores. Before Roland Office steps in, let me remind you about Jacket Giveaway Weekend at Wrigley Field next Saturday and Sunday, May 6th and 7th. The Cubs and the Giants, their first meeting in the regular season. And if you're 13 and under, you'll take home a nifty Cub 12-gauge vinyl windbreaker complete with the Cubs emblem. Now, to qualify for a free jacket on either Saturday or Sunday, you must be among the first 15,000 youngsters, 13 or younger, with fully paid admission. Bleacher tickets not included. So, kids, ask Mom and Pop to take you out to Wrigley Field. Jacket giveaway weekend next Saturday and Sunday, May 6th and 7th at 1:15. Get out there early, have lunch at the ballpark, take in the batting practice and infield drill, and have yourselves a good time. Guys with a very strong pitching staff this year. And, of course, the great Woody McCovey, among others. Roland Office, a left-hander, grounded out twice, swings in the first pitch. That baby is hit. Look out if it stays fair. It does. A tremendous home run, the second of the year by Roland Office up into the blue seats. Nothing tricky about that one, let me tell you. That steps off a few bombs. He has broken into his home run clock to make the score 5-3 Cubs. First pitch, and he really nailed it. Second home run by Atlanta today, and the fourth one off Dennis Lamp this season. He offered up his first one against the Pirates at Wrigley Field. Bill Robertson nailed that one in the first inning. Then at Philadelphia, Dennis Luzinski homered against him. Murphy is homered today with a man on, and this one with the bases empty by Office. Here comes Esselstyn. The left-hander takes. And it's a ball on outside. Esselstyn at the moment is hitting .300. He's dropped 10 points today. He's 0 for 2. 5-3 score. The Cub bullpen is busy. Lance Stixbit swung on. Line drive. Base hit into right center field. Esselstyn good speed. Making the turn. Center fielder Wallace hustles the throw into second, and he is in there with a double. Lance may be tiring. He got that pitch up a little bit, and it did not seem to have much on it. Donnie Moore is throwing hotter and quicker down in the bullpen, down the left field line. The Braves now bring the tying run to the plate. They had 2 hits back in the second inning. And now a homer and a double by the first 2 batters here in the 6th. 4 hits for the day for him. All he has to do is face Jeff Burrows. He has handled Burrows well so far. He's grounded out twice. Mound conference out there, perhaps a delaying tactic. So Donnie Moore can get ready in the bullpen. Jack Bloomfield standing up there with his arms folded across his chest. Haven't seen him give the sign yet. Herman Franks is now calling time. He's going to make the long, slow walk from the dugout that's way back behind third base. I think he's already made up his mind. He looks down over the shoulder down to the bullpen. Still haven't seen Bloomfield take their cap off out there, giving the sign that Donnie Moore is ready. Moore came on in the first game of the series, pitched an inning on Friday night, and he looked terrific. Really was popping the ball. Put him down in order. Suter had worked early in relief, got the victory in that one. Now Herman points down to the bullpen as Bloomfield tells him his man is ready. And Dennis is going to leave the ball game here in the 6th inning. He has given up 3 runs, given up 4 hits, 2 of them homers, 1 a double, the other a single. Just suddenly seemed to lose it here after having retired. The other is single. Just suddenly seemed to lose it here after having retired. The Braves in order in the 5th inning. And not having given up a hit since the homer by Murphy back in the 2nd. So while Donnie Moore comes in, we have a delay in the action here at Atlanta. Cubs with a 5-3 lead. We're in the 6th inning with nobody out. A runner at second. Let's take time out for this message.
64 years ago, in 1914, a new era in transportation began for America. That was the year the first ship passed through the Panama Canal. There was transportation history being made in 1914 in the tire industry, too. That was the year the first Cooper passenger tire was made. Today, 64 years later, Cooper tires are still being made in Findlay, Ohio, with the latest technological advances and plenty of old-fashioned craftsmanship. In fact, the Findlay people who build Cooper tires think so much of them that they put their names right on them. So a Cooper is known as the tire with 2 names, the company and the man who builds it. When you see your Cooper dealer, you know you're getting a quality tire for less than a top price. See your Cooper dealer soon. The Allen Tire Service, Valparaiso, Indiana, and Glasgow's Tire City Incorporated, 608 West 4th Street, Sterling, Illinois.
Donnie Moore got victory here in 10 innings. Friday night, 4-3. The fifth was perfect. Had 1 strikeout, faced 3 men. The victim of a freakish play at Philadelphia Monday night of this week in the ball game which the Phillies won lopsidedly, 12-2. Came into field a bunt. Dave Ryder later said, I told him to go to third. He threw there, right over the bag, but unfortunately there was no Cub fielder there. That led to a big Philadelphia onslaught. Donnie has pitched well. Right-hander facing Jeff Burrows. Cup hitter. Takes the first pitch, a strike, just above the knees. Burrows came into the game
having hit safely 6 straight games and had 14 hits in his last 17 official trips to the plate, was 4 for 7 against the Cubs. Was after that pitch a high foul coming back into the seats, dropping just below us. This was a glove, missed it. The other one was the first baseman, Smith, missed it. Bare-handed guy got it. That figures. Burrows against Dennis Lance, grounded out to short of the third. He is the tying run at the plate. Got ahead of the stretch. Right-hander kicks. Fastball. Grazed the bat of Burrows. He didn't go after the pitch. It was inside on him. Moore was facing it. Grazed it and went back foul out of play. No score at St. Louis in the bottom of the 5th in their game with the Dodgers. Los Angeles will be in Chicago at Wrigley Field Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then the Giants. Here's the stretch by Moore. And the pitch. Swung on and missed by Burrows. One after one around their knees away from him. Got himself a tough strikeout. Still at second is Asselstein. Lamp today walked only one. He didn't strike out anybody. But he had him hitting a lot of ground balls. He also, however, gave up 2 homers. Now Joe Nolan, who singled in front of that homer in the second inning off the bat of Murphy, steps in. A left-handed hitting catcher. Swings, bounces it foul down the first base side. Back of Pete Ward. Strike 1 count on Nolan. That single in the second inning by Nolan was his first hit this year in his 10th trip to the plate, so he's now 1 for 11. Takes a fastball, it's too high. Ball 1, strike 1. First 4 games that Moore appeared in and relief this year, the Cubs won. He got the victory in his first appearance of the season at Pittsburgh. Here's the pitch. Curve that didn't break at all, very high. Ball 2, strike 1. Then Donnie was in 4 ball games in which the opposition won. And at that string here on Friday night. Pumps that in and he misses. Ball 3, strike on. Look out. With 1 away. Runner at second. 3-1 pitch coming up to the left-handed hitting Joe Nolan. Tommy Burgess coaching at third, a native of Canada. What a hockey player, too. Points the runner at second. Doesn't want him picked off. Dace, who shaded way up the middle. Big gap on the left side of the infield. Should Nolan try to go that way, and he was doing that in batting practice today. Hitting the opposite side. 3-1 pitch coming up. Moore kicks, delivers. Misses inside for ball 4. Now they have runners at first and second. The tying runs are on base. And here is young Dale Murphy. Got his second home run of the year in the second inning off Dennis Lamp that brought in Nolan in front of him. He walked in the 4th when Lamp worked around him. Hair cut short, real plain-looking kid, and a good competitor. Well, the Braves roster book lists him at 6'4". He told me yesterday he's 6'5" and weighs about 210. Then Sinise, here's the pitch. And he takes the ball, missing inside above the knees. Moore's got to be very, very careful with him. 7,269. Paid attendance today. Rather slim crowd, 7,269. Moore in the stretch. Johnny's pitch. Murphy takes. Breaking ball outside. 2-0. Trouble brewing at Atlanta. Moore standing with his back facing home plate, hands on his hips for a moment. Willie Hernandez, the left-hander, is now busy in the Cub bullpen. Runners at first and second with 1 away. 5-3, Cubs leading. Right at bat, Moore delivers. Murphy kicks, he swings. Did he hold up in time? Cubs ask for the appeal. First base umpire, Bob Engel, says he went around, and he draws a chorus of boos. Of course they're partisans.
Michael says, I can't help it. I didn't have the bat in my hand. The kid did. They could start having a few winning seasons down here. They could pack them in. They've not had much to cheer about in the years. The Braves have called this their home. 1 out, 2 on, 2-1 pitch. Here it is. Murphy takes strike over the outside corner. There, they nipped the corner away. They tell you that was close. Donnie trying to get out of this jam. He inherited the runner at second base. He struck out Burroughs, but he walked Joe Nolan. 1 gone. 2-2 pitch coming up. He looks at second, delivers. A swing and a foul out of play to the right side. The Braves were in Milwaukee. I don't think they had a losing season up there. And, of course, they won a couple of pennants in the World Series. Atlanta in 69 won the Western Division, then lost to the New York Mets that year, went on to win the World Series. They've had only 2 seasons down here where they've been over 500. A dozen years, they've called it home. We're ready, 2-2 pitch. Murphy swung, and he got just enough of it to foul it, and he's still alive. It's pretty good bat control. They had jacket night down at Houston last night. They drew their biggest crowd at the Astrodome since 1966. They had over 46,000. We'll have jacket giveaway weekend at Wrigley Field Saturday and Sunday against the Giants. We're ready with the 2-2 delivery. Here it is. Murphy swings on the curve, fouls it. It's going to go into the seats just below it. It is still 2-2. Gary, our engineer, here again this year. Good to see him again. Jack Minovich, our producer. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Keep your fingers crossed. A nervous moment here at Atlanta. Braves stretching, tying runs around base. Go-ahead run, Murphy at the plate. 2 rookies battling, 2-2 pitch, fastball. Swung out and he bounced it foul. Got just enough of it to stay in there. This kid is tough. Comes from out in the Northwest, out in Oregon. Last night he did the catching. The night before that he was at first base, and that's where he is this afternoon at first. But right now in the batter's box. Moore trying to dispose of him. Boy, the Cubs could really use a double play right here. Runners at first and second. Donnie Moore into the stretch. Here it is. And he takes strike 3. Moore on the outside corner. And Murphy can't believe it. Now the kid finally stalks out of the batter's box, goes into that dugout of the first base side, and taking his place in there will be Barry Bonnell, another right-hander. Before Bonnell steps in with 2 on, 2 out, still 5-3 Cubs. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Bonnell, 0 for 2 so far. Moore's first pitch. Misses low and away to it. When 0 for 2, he's down to 197 for the year with that batting average. It's 1 for 8 in the series. Boy, that was great pitching by Moore. He pops one in, a strike called a fastball. You know, with Moore, Willie Hernandez, and Bruce Sutter, the 3 of the youngest relievers in the majors. They're all talented. 1-1 delivery. Bonnell swings, pops it foul. Down the third base side. Adebayo is coming over to pick it up. Well, communications, which supplies scores to us this year. Here things are going to work out eventually, but they finally picked up that Cincinnati New York Mets ball game. And it is now the Reds 4, New York Mets 6 at the end of 5. That's the first we've heard from them since the second inning. hits Pete Rose has. 1-2 delivery coming up. 2 on, 2 out. Swung on, a foul ball out of play to the right side. He couldn't get around in the fastball. Kansas City still leading Milwaukee 1-0. Bottom of the 4th inning at KC. Johnny Moore taking plenty of time, concentrating, trying to get out of this jam. 1-2 pitch coming up. Here it is. Bonnell swing, high fly ball to the left fielder. Rose can have it easily. He's there. Makes the catch. And a very fine job of relief work here by Johnny Moore. Came in with nobody out, a runner at second. Struck out 2 men, issued a walk, and got Bonnell to retire the side. A leadoff homer in the inning by Rolodopoulos. That came off Dennis Lamp. 2 hits, 2 men left on. And at the end of 6, the Cubs fans here standing for the 7th inning stretch. The score, the Cubs 5, Atlanta 3.
Water from God's country. Sparkling, pure spring water. Gottlieb Heilemann spent years looking for water like this. He found it in La Crosse, Wisconsin in 1853. Heilemann still uses this water today to double brew a great light beer called Old Style in a traditional old world way called krausening. Krausening is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. But at Old Style, we don't aim to make the most beer, only the best. That's why we use krausening and sparkling, pure Wisconsin spring water. Taste the difference they make. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. G. Heilemann Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Brilliant relief work by Johnny Moore. He said he didn't have any chances there, particularly the first man he faced, Jeff Burrows. Carried the hottest bat in the majors last week. When he struck him out, he really did a job. And he walked the left-hander hitting Nolan, but got Dale Murphy looking at strike 3. And got Bonnell on a routine fly ball to left field. Nice if the Cubs could get a couple of more runs on the board. Joe Wallace is going to lead off as the Cubs come to bat here in the 7th inning against Mickey Mailer, the southpaw, who came on in relief in the 2nd inning. And so far, Mailer has been really effective. He's allowed an infield bad hop single off the bat of Monteveres, and that's been all. He was a high draft choice of the Atlanta Braves. Tall left-hander. Wallace batting righty against him, levels the bat. Joe, so far, 0 for 2, goes after a curve, way up front, taps it foul off his left foot. Strike 1 count on him. Young man from Indiana on the Atlanta pitching staff. Fastball off the outside corner on Joe. Well done, strike 2 on him. Wallace right now is hitting .364 for the year. 6 hits and 17 trips to the plate. Mailer winds, here's the pitch. Swung on and that got him with 1 low and away. Mailer looking tough, his 2nd strikeout. Now Johnny Moore will be the batter. Quite a job in the bottom of the 6th inning. When you come in to face Jeff Burrows in a close ball game, when Burrows is as hot as he is, you've got a man in scoring position, you know your work is cut out for you. Mailer's first pitch gave him a big motion. He swung and missed for a strike. Well, down he throws right-handed. He bats southpaw. So he's at a bit of a disadvantage here against Mailer as left-hander. There's a swing, and he got himself a base hit. Disadvantage or not, that's the first real clean hit by the Cubs off Mailer. Dennis Lamp
singled in the second inning into right field, and then when he came to bat in the fourth inning, overlooked Evan. He got himself a base hit off Mailer. That was the last hit off Mailer, who had to be pretty upset with himself on that one because he had a 0-2 count on the Cub pitcher at that time, and he threw him a little curveball that really didn't have much on it. Lamp pulled it for a hit. So the Cub pitchers now, Lamp and Moore, have 3 base hits combined out of the total of 7 for the ball club. First pitch to De Jesus. Yvonne takes it inside, ball 1. Cubs with 7 hits, Atlanta with 4. Gross's 3-run homer, the big blow for the Cubs so far. To stretch the pitch. Fastball. Caught the outside corner on Yvonne. 1-1 on him. Bill Lucas, their director of player personnel here at the Braves. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing and it dipped too low. Ball 2, strike 1. Sit in regards to Chopper Campbell, as they call him. If we can get what we need for him, yeah, we'll accommodate him with a trade. Well, the Philadelphia 76ers and Washington went into overtime today in their semi-final game in the NBA. It wound up with Philadelphia Washington a winner, 122 to 117. Dick Monta's got to be a happy guy. Somebody in that Atlanta bullpen, Bobby Cox, really getting on Paul Runge, the plate umpire. They're jawing at one another about 100 feet apart. Runge hollered back at him pretty good. The count goes to 2-1 on Ivan De Jesus. That's for Bobby Cox, his first year as skipper. Look at first to pitch. High. Ball 3, strike 1. Wouldn't that be something, Lou, if 76ers got knocked out of that NBA playoff by Washington? Boy, it could be. They lose in overtime to the Bullets today. Here's the pitch. Swung out a high fly ball down the right field line. Brian Esselstyn coming over, crosses the foul line. He's in the bullpen area, and he grabs it for the out. That kid is quick. Covers a lot of ground. Ball hung up just long enough for him to get under it. So they're 2 away here at Atlanta, and Greg Gross, who singled in the first inning and hit a 3-run homer in the second, steps into the batter's box. Third in the majors without a home run until last year when he hit 5 of them. Now he's got a grand total of 6 in his career. And not holding the runner out at first, there's a swing by Greg, and he taps a little foul back out of play. His home run since starting pitcher Tommy Boggs to a very early shower and brought on Mailer. Been a very effective relief man today. In the 5th inning against Bader, Gross bounced out to the second baseman, Jerry Royster. The score, 5-3 Cubs. Top of the 7th inning with a runner at first, Johnny Moore, 2 gone. The kick to pitch. Swung out a line drive back at second base into center field. Moore will stop at second base. And Greg Gross is 3 for 4 here this afternoon. One of these days, he ought to be able to shed that label that he can only hit against right-handers. I don't recall him, Lou, when he's had a chance to bat against southpaws, having much difficulty against them. He could swing that bat real well against anybody.
Not very often because, as I say, both these managers, Herman included, platoons quite a bit. There's a left-hander out there. He's been going with Klein. But maybe Gross has hit himself into the lineup.
Runners at first and second, and Buckner the hitter. First pitch. And he takes the fastball a little bit low. Over the plate, but downstairs. Buck looking for his first hit of the day. He's popped up, grounded out, and flied to right. 1 for 9 here in Atlanta. 333 hitter for the season right now. Here's the pitch to him. Swung on a breaking ball. He pops it foul. Could be a play. Bonnell racing over. The third baseman is there, and he grabs it. Just in front of the low fence past the Cup dugout to retire the side. Despite the fact they have all that room here, Bonnell had a good jump on it and was able to grab it. For example, at Wrigley Field, that ball would have been back in about 6 or 7 rows. No run. 2 hits
two men left stranded in the seventh inning, and it's time for the crowd of 7,269. Those are more Brave fans to get up for the stretch. Cubs still leading Atlanta 5-3.
Good morning. I'd like to try the breakfast with the hash browns, please.
Oh, McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast with an English muffin, toasted English muffin.
What's the name of it?
McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast with a toasted English muffin.
It's a lot, but I mean, what's the name of it?
We don't have a name.
McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast.
But, I mean, that's too long.
Well, I guess it could use a shorter name.
You need punchy here. You need punchy name. You need name punchy quick.
Oh, you mean like Egg McMuffin?
People order fast, punchy quick, name fast here.
McEgg sauce hash browns.
Greg Bersage.
Egg mutt sauce hash rag bread.
It doesn't flow.
Two freshly scrambled eggs.
Two scram. McScram eggs.
McScram.
And steak.
No.
Pure pork sausage.
McPo sauce.
Buttered toasted English muffin.
The toasted muffin.
McMuffin.
What's Polish?
And a big helping of our great hash browns.
Oh.
Fried to be crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, just like our world famous fries.
So you do want that?
Yes, I want that. Didn't I say that?
You got it.
That's the breakfast. I'll have that.
Our scrambled eggs and sausage and hash brown breakfast.
Would you like this in McDonald's coffee with that?
McGuffey.
McCoffee.
Well, the San Francisco Giants, who are going to be in Chicago at Wrigley Field Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this coming week, turned in a victory at Pittsburgh today by a score of 7-3. For the Giants, brings them to the 500 mark for the year. They've now won 10 and lost 10. And for the Pirates, it knocks them down to the 500 mark. Pittsburgh now 9-9. Darrell Cheney from Hammond, Indiana. Leading off as a pinch hitter here in the seventh inning against Johnny Moore. Cheney in the series, 1 for 6. Veteran takes the fastball. It's a strike called on him. In the on-deck circle, getting set to pinch hit, Bob Beal. Wind up, Moore's delivery. Swung on. He hits one down the left field line. It's curving. If it's fair ball, just barely inside the line. Cheney is going to be on with a looping double that was just inches inside the foul line. Third base umpire John McSherry went out there and he had a good look at it. Curving all the way, but it didn't curve quite enough for the Cubs. Well, Cheney is in scoring position. Beal, who had been swinging the bat, is going back into the dugout. And Vic Pocaroba is down the on-deck circle. Cheney was batting for the shortstop, Rocket. Pocaroba has been kept out of action because of a flu bug. Young man is a very fine catcher. Steps into the batter's box. He comes from California. The speculation that Braves for a while were tempted to accommodate him and trade him to one of the West Coast teams. And now he says he's happy right here in Atlanta. And they're happy with him. His first appearance in the series. And Biff is not a nickname. That's his legal first name. Biff Pocaroba, switch hitter. The left-hander is batting .219. Takes, and there's a ball. Fastball that missed low. Seventh inning, a runner at second. Time is called. Pitching coach Mike Rourke comes out of the Cub dugout to talk to Moore. I don't know what he might have seen there a little, but something brought him out of there in a hurry.
Well,
first pitch.
Yeah, I think he's going to remind him how they want to pitch to Pocaroba. I think that Moore was pitching just the opposite of what they talked about, and Rourke wants to remind both Rader and Moore how to pitch, plus the fact that they can also give Hernandez and Suter a little more time in that bullpen to warm up. Doesn't take Suter long.
Cubs advanced scout last year and this year, looking at ball clubs that the Cubs are going to meet, been Eddie Lyons. He has scouted Atlanta. And then when the Cubs got here, after he turned in his report to the manager, Herman Frank, said he went down to St. Louis to scout the Dodgers, who'll be at Wrigley Field Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now Moore into the stretch. Pocaroba, bat cocked over the left shoulder, swings, and he lines one foul down the first baseline.
The line on Baylor, 5 in the third inning.
Baylor did a very fine job in relief. About 4 hits
and no runs in 5 1/3 innings of relief work. Runner at second with nobody out. 7th inning, 2-run lead for the Cubs. Moore's fastball swung on a high fly ball. Mercer calling for it, should have it easily. Runner at second is tagging up. Burgess telling him to stay right where he is. Mercer, after making the catch, gets that throw into Jesus right on target.
Excuse me. He's a veteran, Cheney. He put the old ethos on the coach. You want me to come over?
Yeah.
And he looked right at him. And Burgess was a policeman. He just held up that right arm and said, "Oh, no, you stay right there. We keep that tying run at the plate."
We're talking in a story here about Burgess today in one of the papers about how he is a very aggressive coach at third base, a good instructor, but he'll like to gamble with runners, but you don't gamble foolishly. Milwaukee playing Denver today in their quarterfinal series. At the end of the first period, Milwaukee leads the Nuggets 33-26. Royster stepping in. Is 0 for 3 so far today, right-hander. He's batting .324 for the season. That's up to date. Moore's first pitch, lined into right field, a base hit. Burgess coming up the line, watching as Mercer fields the ball cleanly. Holds the runner at third. And Mercer with a perfect bank into the plate. Runners at first and third, an opposite field, hard-hit liner off the bat of Jerry Royster. He has now hit safely in 7 straight games. Atlanta has a tying runs on base with 1 away in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Herman Banks is out of that dugout again. He has Willie Hernandez ready in the bullpen, and alongside of him is Bruce Sutter. A pair of left-handers are due to come up here for Atlanta, Roland Office and Brian Esselstein. Donnie Moore pitched beautifully in that 6th inning when he came in with a runner at second and nobody out and left him stranded. Is leaving here in the 7th inning. And Bruce Sutter is being given the call. So while Sutter comes in to score the Cubs 5, Atlanta 3, we have this delay. Let's take time out for this message.
True Value Hardware stores would like you and your family to make fun of their West Point bicycles. A lot of people think a bicycle is a great means of transportation because it's economical. Others think it's an excellent form of exercise. But True Value Hardware stores want you to ride their West Point bicycles to have fun. So they offer a large selection of sizes and styles to suit every member of the family, including 10-speed racers, high-risers, and a convertible bike for beginners. Plus West Point motocross bikes and 3-speed touring bikes. So even if you and your family want to use West Point bikes for exercise or transportation, don't forget, they're a lot of fun, too. See the complete selection of West Point bicycles exclusively at participating True Value Hardware stores.
Ball game down here. The Cubs won in overtime, 4-3. Last night they were not in the ball game after playing giveaway in the 3rd inning and allowing 5 Atlanta runs to come across the plate. When the Cubs were guilty of 3 errors, there was a pass ball on a strikeout. Just everything went haywire. Now it's nervous time again. And Sutter, coming on in relief of Donnie Moore, will face Roland Office, a real speedster who led off the 6th inning with a home run off Dennis Lamb. Runners at first and third with 1 away. Office a left-hander. Sutter wheels and throws over to first base. Royster starts the day leading the National League in thefts with 11. Jumped back safely. With his speed and the speed of Office, the batter's spot, a double play would really be a remarkable thing. Batter takes, and there is a strike. Office to Dallas. The moment is hitting .256. He's 1 for 3 today, a homer. Another throw to keep that runner as close to first as they can get him. Bruce worked an inning and 2/3 here the other night in relief and got the victory, his first of the year. Wrecks the pitch. Knuckle curve is down too low. Batter laid off. Ball. 1-1. They answer the deal on that check swing, and it's given to Atlanta.
Harry Bittner singled. Won that ball game for the Cubs. Harry coming in as a pinch hitter. But in that game, Suter struck out 4 straight men. Suter's pitch, swung on. He got it up high, and it's drilled into center field. A base hit, a run will score. They have runners at first and second. It's 5-4 Cubs. That pitch was up around the letters. And Office nailed it cleanly into center field. Well, he homered in the sixth. His second run batted into the air. Now he has 3 RBIs for the season. He chased in Darrell Chaney from third with that one. Royster stopping at second base. Brian Esselstein. Left-hander is going to be the batter. Coming out to check Jerry Royster. Cox coming out there. I didn't see what the beef is about here, Lou.
Well, I don't think that Royster wants to wear a helmet.
Well, he
He's
doesn't
not
have
wearing
to.
a helmet. Now they're going to get together. The umpires are going to get together.
I didn't think on the base pads you had to wear one. All Runge. The rest of his umpiring teammates are gathered in the conference out at the mound.
The way the Runge's pointing from first to second, I don't know just what this is all about.
Royster, big smile. Buckner says something to him. Let's come on over. I'll talk to you. Herman Franks comes out. He wants to know what the heck is going on here.
Well, this is another spot where the PA announcer could get information as to, or the press box, as to what this little squabble is about.
They are instructed by the National League office to do that, and it may be that they're on the phone right now to the Atlanta dugout to get the information, not only to give it to us in the press box, but also to the fans here in the public address system. We'll wait and see whether or not they do. Now we're ready to go, and the first pitch is that knuckle curve, and it bounces into the dirt for ball 1 on Esselstein. Reached in the 4th inning, leading off on a ball that took a hard hop. Buckner. He was charged with an error. There's a strike call. 1-1. Esselstein is now a .323 hitter for the year. He doubled and sent Dennis Lamp to the showers in the 6th inning with that double. Left-hander stands slightly closed. Here's the pitch. Into the dirt for the plate. Runners are going to advance to second and third as the ball got by Dave Rader. That'll be a wild pitch. The last 2 outings at Philadelphia and here at Atlanta Friday night, Suter has been just as tough as he ever was at any time last year. Now he's in a jam. And so are the Cubs. The tying run over at third base. That's Royster. The go-ahead run, Roland Office at second, and there's still 1 away. Suter delivers, and he misses with that one. Ball 3, strike 1. The pitch was up and in. In the on-deck circle, Jeff Burrows. You think Suter doesn't have his hands full? There is nobody throwing in the Cub bullpen. Suter from the stretch delivers way outside for ball 4. Bases are loaded for Burrows. What they tell you, the Atlanta fans love it. Tailor-made situation for the hometown hero. Hit 41 home runs here last year. Second only to George Foster in the National League. Now Hernandez, once more, gets up in the bullpen. Bases jammed with 1 away. Burrows, 0 for 3 so far today. Suter in the stretch. There's the swing and a miss on this good split finger curve or knuckle curve, whatever you want to call it. That one was down around the knees of Burrows, who is a .394 hitter at the moment for the season. He's dropped 19 points today, going 0 for 3. Suter's pitch swung on. Bounced it foul off of Rader.
Despite the fact that it is pretty warm here, Sutter came off the mound, and before taking that new ball, he blew in the fingers of his pitching hand. Now he's off to one side of the mound, decides to climb up the hill. He's up in front of Burroughs, 0-2. But he cannot afford a mistake. Bases jammed with 1 out, 5-4 score. Cubs have the 5. Burroughs trying to change it. Here's the pitch to him. Swung on, he got a piece of that knuckle curve, fouled it back out of play. Sutter came on and faced Roland Office, yielded a single, walked Esselstein. Then uncorked a wild pitch. Uncorked a wild pitch prior to walk and Story. The bases are jammed in Atlanta. Hold on, here it comes. Pitch out, throw to third. Pretty good move there by Rader. Had they been able to catch that runner, Royster, relaxed a little bit at third base, that would have been something. Third base coach, Tom Burgess, gets him back there in a hurry. There's the overhand pitch. He checks his swing. Cubs are going to ask for the field. Denied this time by Bob Engel, and he draws a round of applause. It isn't often you hear that for an umpire. He drew the boos a little while ago when he went the other way. Gave the call to the Cubs. Now on Burroughs, ball 2, strike 2. Shooter in the stretch, bases jammed, a pitch. Into the dirt, ball 3, strike 2. Well, it's right down to this one, my friends. Burroughs steps out of the batter's box. Clutches the bat over his head, behind his back. Now steps back in. Gone as far as it can go. Bases jammed. 3-2 pitch with 1 away. Here it is. Swung up. High fly ball. Shallow left center field. De Jesus out. Throws in. Throws hollers. Makes the catch. Runner from third. Coming to the plate. Here's the throw. Bites again. He scores. Rader cannot get to the ball in time. And Sutter picks the ball up. Rader was hurt on that one as he was down in front of the plate on the third base side, waiting for that ball to come bouncing in. And he was hit hard by Royster, and he has been hurt. As Augustine, the trainer from the Bulls, who is here with the Cubs, is there with him, and he took quite a shot.
Well, he's taken several shots, Vince. In Philadelphia, I thought that McCarver came in, and I thought that he had a separated shoulder. Rader, that is. And he is really hurt because he was there. It was the type of a play that you cannot blame Royster. The ball took 2 hops as soon as it hit the grass, rolling to Rader, and the timing was such that that was the only way that Royster was going to score, is to barrel over Rader. And he did just that.
Hey, I think I saw Rojas point into the Atlanta dugout asking for a stretcher. And Cookie is now undoing the shin guard on the right leg. And do I see that ankle twisted so strangely?
He's holding the right hip also.
Yes.
He took a severe jolt, I'll tell you that. And now Skip Atkinson
They're bringing a stretcher out.
is wanting the trainer or someone from the Atlanta, whether they have a doctor or not over there, to come out. You see, Skip is the basketball trainer.
Yeah.
And he's going to ask for a little help, very smartly, from the trainer of the Atlanta Braves.
Rader, most of the time, he is on his back, has been holding his hand under his lower right hip. And they do have the shin guard off Dave's right leg. Game is tied at 5. But more importantly, what's the condition of Dave Rader? How seriously hurt is he? That's the most important thing of all right now. They played the stretcher alongside of him. There's going to be about 4 men helping to ease him up very, very carefully onto that stretcher. They put him on the stretcher. Gene Kleins was there to assist. Hector Cruz, Cookie Rojas, trainer for Atlanta, Augustine for the Cubs. Venus Lowry now going to give a hand. Larry Bittner is going to assist. Ross Will, and they're being very careful as they lift that stretcher straight up. And 6 of them are carrying Dave Rader off this field. A collision at the plate. And there's nobody to blame on it. Bruce Wagley called to make the catch out there on Burrow's high fly ball into left center field. And Greg made the throw in, but not in time. It was bouncing in off that grass. I would think that if it were on an artificial surface, it would have gotten there perhaps much, much quicker than it did.
And only Royster, the runner on third, would Burgess take a chance to score. Anybody else in that lineup, including Offutt, I don't believe that he would have sent him in because the ball was in shallow left center.
Still, Suter, meanwhile, continuing to keep loosened up there. Larry Cox is going to be the new catcher. We've got to pause a moment here for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
These 2 runs that have tallied here in the bottom of the 7th inning will be charged against Donnie Moore. He yielded a leadoff double to Pat Rocket, to Darrell Cheney. And Cheney held as pinch hitter Biff Pocoroba lined out to Mercer in right. Then Jerry Royster slashed a single into right field, sending Cheney to third. Then Suter came on a relief, and he gave up a single to Roland Office that brought in Cheney with the first run of the inning. Hasselstein then drew a walk, and Burrows on a 3-2 pitch with the bases loaded brought in a run with a sacrifice fly. On the throw to the plate, the other runners advanced. Dave Rader injured, carried off on a stretcher. We'll wait for a report on him. Cox, the new pitcher. So it's tied at 5. Joe Nolan. Cubs asked for the appeal that Royster might have left third base before the catch, but it is denied by John McSherry, the third base umpire. Nolan singled and scored in front of Murphy's homer in the 2nd inning. Left-hander, 1 for 2 today. He takes. And Suter misses. Ball 1 away. Just as soon as we get a report on the injury to Dave Rader, we'll pass it on to you. We can only hope, like you, that it is not serious. Sure didn't look good. There's a attempt to hold up his swing, and he can't do it. Went too far. Ball 1, strike 1. It's tied at 5 with 2 gone. Bottom of the 7th inning. And Atlanta runners at 2nd and 3rd, and now Nolan calls time. He wants to come over here and use the rosin bag. Or the cloth with the fine tar and pitch on it. To hold up his swing, and he can't do it. Went too far. Ball 1, strike 1. It's tied at 5 with 2 gone. Bottom of the 7th inning. And Atlanta runners at 2nd and 3rd, and now Nolan calls time. He wants to come over here and use the rosin bag. Or the cloth with the fine tar and pitch on it. Hernandez now throwing in the bullpen again for the Cubs. Nolan, 1 hit today, 1 hit for the year. Here's the pitch to him. A split finger curve misses low and inside. Ball 2, strike 1 on him. At third base is Office. At second base is Esselstein. Here's the pitch. Swung on, ground ball to Buckner at first base. Should retire the side. It does. He comes up the line for an unassisted put out. But the Braves tie it with a pair of runs here in the 7th inning. 3 base hits, 1 walk, 2 men left on. Collision at the plate between Royster cutting up the line from third to score and Dave Rader. So at the end of 7 in Atlanta, it gives a very somber note to the proceedings here. The score is tied 5 and 5.
The Cowboys and the Hawks, we make our lives a pleasure again. From the very first moment we see you, we're gonna do all our best. The Cowboys and the Hawks, understanding is the name of the game. We wanna see you again and again. So we're gonna gonna treat you right. The caravan of old. We make our lives a pleasure again. The caravan of old. Have some fun together, play talk and feel. Take your time deciding. We want you to feel right at home at Old Covey. The caravan of old. We make our lives a pleasure again. The caravan of old. We make our lives a pleasure again.
Visit your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealer today.
We have a new Atlanta battery now. Audrey Devine, right-hander, has been in 7 games, picked up a victory, despite the fact his earned run average is a very high 9 right on the nose. He also has 1 save. Boy, in 15 innings, Devine has given up, or in 10 in the third innings, rather, he's given up 15 hits and 10 runs, all earned. Walked 3, struck out 5. But he has a win and a save and no losses. Cheney is staying in the ball game. He's playing at shortstop, and Pocoroba is staying in to be the new catcher. Bobby Mercer stepping in what is now a tied-up ball game. Right-hander's first pitch to him into the dirt in front of the plate. Ball 1 to Bobby. Got a run batted in the first inning. The Cubs got 4 runs in the second, and 3 of them on Greg Gross's home run over the right field fence. But since then, the Cubs' bats have been pretty quiet. Mailer did a fine job. 5 in the third innings, no run, 4 hit baseballs. Now the right-hander delivers. Takes a strike on the inside corner. 1-1. In Chicago, following our broadcast of this final game of the series, Bobby takes it. It's a little high. It's 2-1. We'll have the scoreboard, and then the Mike Pyle show to be followed by Ben Bentley and the sports writers. No baseball tomorrow. The Cubs back in action at Wrigley Field Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday against the Dodgers. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against San Francisco. There's a swing and a hard smash base hit. Fastball, and Mercer was ready, drilled it to the right of the second baseman, Jerry Royster. So he represents the go-ahead run. And Steve Olivares will be the hitter.
Attention, press. The doctor.
Here's a report on Dave Rader.
Rader at this time.
Doctor is examining
Lower back pain.
lower back pain. He's been holding his hand under his lower right back. Lower back pain. They carried him off very, very carefully on a stretcher. A collision at the plate. Nobody to blame on it. It's one of those things that'll happen. First pitch to Olivares, and he takes the ball inside. Got an infield single in the third. It's 1 for 3. Vine's next pitch, fastball, taken for a strike. Murphy, Royster, Cheney, and Bond out on that infield. Devine and Pocoroba, the battery. Office, Burroughs, and Hasselstein in the outfield for Atlanta. Throw to first base.
1 and a third inning. 2 hits.
Mercer back in plenty of time.
2 earned. 1 walk. 2 strikeouts.
Devine started into the stretch and wheeled and threw very quickly over to first base. And Pocoroba going out there to talk to him. He almost didn't even come to the set position that time. While Pocoroba's talking to him, I want to tell you that we've got some proof for you in dollars and cents that Major League Baseball at Wrigley Field truly is one of Chicago's very best sports buys. For example, general admission for adults, $3. For children 13 and under, $1.50. All bleacher seats, regardless of age, $1.50. No other professional sport offers these low prices. Message furnished by the Chicago Cubs. Now we're ready to go. The stretch. The pitch swung out. A change. Bounces over the tall first baseman Murphy down into right field. Mercer going to third. Olivares is on. They wheel the throw into second base. Murphy 6'5", very agile. Long stretch. He jumped as high as he could, but the ball was still out of his range. And the Cubs
this tied-up ball game have a chance to go back out in front here in the 8th inning. Nobody out. And Bocaroba going out to talk to Devine. Solomon, used to be Eddie. Now he says, I want to be called Buddy J. Is now throwing in their bullpen down the right field side.
That should give Navarro a little confidence. And as I mentioned earlier, if we get him started, he's been in important spots in that lineup all during our road trip and at home.
He's too good a hitter to carry the kind of average he does at this stage of the season. Trio swings a line drive into right field. It is going down into the corner. Mercer scoring out of Harris on his way to third. The ball gets away from Esselstein. Lowry waving out of Harris to the plate. Here comes the throw towards third. It is could be a triple or a double and an error against Esselstein, but 2 runs scored. The Cubs have a 7-5 lead. Trio blistered that one. When he is hitting well, his best shots go to right field. And that's where that one went. Bobby Cox, the skipper of Atlanta, going out. He may be going to Solomon right away because they give the sign from down there that he's ready. 3 successive hits here by the Cubs. We're going to credit Trio with a triple. Give him his 5th and 6th runs batted in for the year. And Solomon is being brought in a hurry from the bullpen. With nobody out, the Cubs back out in front 7-5. Trio on at third base. We have another delay here in Atlanta. Let's take time out for this message, Bunch.
And Larry Cox
had to replace Dave Rader. The bottom of the 7th inning when the Kip catcher was injured in a collision at the plate. Steps in. Hitting 143, first pitch to him with the ball. There's a swing and a liner caught for the shortstop, painting a beautiful catch. Holy mackerel. That liner was ticketed into center field. Cheney with the infield in. Rangy guy reacted beautifully. Reached up into his left, extended his arm, full length. Lo and behold, he robbed him of a base hit.
Tremendous play. Great reaction. Because when you're in shallow, that ball hits like that, like a bullet, you don't have too much time to react. Cheney made a great play.
Folks down in Hammond, Indiana can be proud of him, as they have been for so many, many years. Now Joe Wallace stepping in, infield still in with one away. Solomon's first pitch, big right-hander misses high with a fastball. Milwaukee now leading Denver 62-47. NBA play, that's at halftime. Solomon in the stretch. Delivers. Wallace takes it low this time. 2-0. Trio, 2-run triple. Giving the Cubs a lead. Fairly short lead at third with one away. Big Solomon looks at him, delivers. Wallace takes, and there's a strike. Looks like a slider. Solomon, no wins, 1 loss this year, 1 save. Worked in 8 ball games, including the other night. 14 innings, 14 hits, 4 wild pitches. Aims a fastball in on the inside corner at the belt. Their England average is a good one, 1.29, but so often, of course, the relief pitchers, the ERA doesn't really tell the whole story. He has his sign. 2-2 pitch. Wallace swings and misses strike 3. He's got good stuff. No question about that. Came to the Cubs and the Dodgers. Then to St. Louis, then was in the minors. Now here with Atlanta. Bruce Sitter stepping in now. Trio still at third, and there are 2 gone. First pitch. Bruce takes the fastball for a strike. Solomon gets out of this jam, and they've done quite a job. And he'll have to thank his shortstop, Darrell Cheney, for the key play that robbed Cox of a base hit and a run batted in. Here's the delivery. Sutter swings, fouls it out of play to the right side.
Joe Wallace battling to get a center field first this year. Really hasn't helped himself at the plate today. He's 0 for 4. 0-2 delivery to center, swung on, ground ball, right side, should be picked up by Royster. It is. The toss to Murphy retires the Cubs. Sullivan getting a fine hand for the relief job, and Cheney ought to get an even bigger one. But in the eighth, Devine, who started, and he was far from Devine as far as the Braves are concerned. 2 runs, 3 hits, all against him. 1 man left on. And at the end of 7.5 at Atlanta, the Cubs take the field. They lead the Braves 7-5. Dale Murphy leading off. The rookie hit a 2-run homer in the second inning, walked in the fourth, looked at strike 3 in the sixth. Swings and misses at that one. First pitch to him had been a strike call.
On the line, no innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned.
Suter, with an opportunity to pick up a victory here, looks down to get his sign. Bruce Wine, 0-2 pitch. Swung on him, out in front of him, and he made him look bad. He made him look bad the other night here in relief on that split-finger curveball. That is Suter's first strikeout today. When he came on in the 7th inning in relief of Donnie Moore, he gave up a single, a walk, the sacrifice fly by Burroughs to Gross in medium depth to left center field, brought in Royster with the then tying run of the ball game. And he got Joe Nolan the ground out to retire the side. Larry Cox is going out to talk to him as he now faces third baseman Barry Bonnell, who has grounded out twice and flied to center field so far today. First pitch by Bruce, taken for a strike. Inside corner to the right-hander. Shooter winds. There's a swing and a bouncing ball to right of Harris near the back of third. Long throw. In time, Bonnell is retired by a couple of steps, 2 away. Now he seems to be a little looser out there, Lou, and a little more confident.
Well, a couple of hits. All he loosens up an infielder or an outfielder.
Stepping into the batter's box, Darrell Cheney had a super sensational leaping catch of a liner off the bat of Larry Cox that would have brought in Trio from third with an insurance run. Cheney, as a pinch hitter, led off the 7th with a double. And he scored on Roland Office's single. Looks at that first pitch of ball. Brenneman, switch hitter. Straightaway stance, batting lefty. Here's the pitch. Takes a strike inside corner, and he's rather disgusted with that call by Paul Runge. Atlanta dugout was on Runge earlier this afternoon for some of his decisions behind the plate. Got into a little jawing match with skipper Bobby Cox. Goes after a high pitch, bounces it to Buckner's right. Billy has it. Underhand feed to the pitcher covering in plenty of time, and it's 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Going to be the top of the batting order here for the Cubs at Atlanta against Buddy J. Solomon. Yes, it's the same fellow that used to be called Eddie Solomon. He just says that he wants to be called that. And he's too big to argue with. Dick Ruthven, one of their pitchers here, saw the other day when they were playing the Giants Thursday night, was wearing number 20. Asking one of the front office people of the Braves about that, I said, I seem to recall he had a different number last year. And he said he did. But he requested number 20 because that's his goal this year, 20 victories. Well, he's only 19 away from it right now. Yankees today defeated Minnesota 3-2. Gossage coming out of relief to get his first win for New York. Gossage had been beaten 3 times. Jesus, first pitch to him is a strike. They notified the fans here on the message board about the injury to Dave Rader in that collision at the plate with Gary Royster, suffering a bruised right hip. Now taken to the hospital for x-rays. We hope those x-rays will prove to be negative and that Dave will not be out for very long. Hits the ball. Jesus goes after one, hits one deep to right field, but it's going to be caught. Esselstein is there waiting for it. Makes the catch. Billy Vaughn is retired to lead off the ninth, and that'll bring up Greg Gross, who has 2 singles and has 3 run homers so far today. Sox back in the ball game, but they're still trailing 7-5 against the Orioles in Chicago this afternoon. Kansas City leading Milwaukee 3-0 at KC. That's in the sixth. Boston holding on to a 1-0 lead over the Texas Rangers, who've been hot. Texas batting in the bottom of the eighth inning against Bill Lee, who is 4-0 for Boston this year. But they've been in a bit of a slump, the win-loss column. First pitch, a ball to Greg. Solomon winds, big fellow's delivery. Just missed. Ball two, no strikes. Texas leading California 6-0. And that's only in the bottom of the second inning at California. It's a pitch way inside below the belt. Rico Carty hit a 2-run homer for the Blue Jays in the second inning. That nap to the showers. That for Carty is his 6th homer this year. 3-0 delivery, he'll take. Strike call at the letters. Oakland with a record of 15-5 at home today to Cleveland. No score at the end of one. Langford for the A's against Rick Wise. Greg checks his swing, started it down to first base, thought the pitch was outside. Instead, it's a strike call. Ball 3, strike 2 on him. Solomon winds. Over the top, there's a swing, and a ground ball to the second baseman is going to be an easy out. Hit it right into the dirt. 2 gone in the ninth. That brings up Bill Buckner, looking for his first hit of the day. Montreal leads Houston 2-0 in the seventh inning. Andy Dawson homers for Montreal in the fourth to account for one of their 2 runs. He hit it off Lemongello. That's for Dawson, his 3rd homer of the year. Bob Nepper got the win for the Giants today at Pittsburgh over Burt Fryleven. Buck takes, and it's a ball all inside. They only drew about 8,000 at Pittsburgh today. Nepper 3-1 for San Francisco. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, low and inside, 2-0. Philadelphia crushed San Diego 11-4 for Andy Lurch. Gets another victory. He's now 3-1, and Jones the loser for the Padres, his 2nd loss after 1 win. Let's up on that one. Bounces it to Oyster on the grass at second. He's got it. Wait for Murphy to get to the bag. Throws to him. Good change by Solomon. And he has faced 6 cut batters and retired all 6. So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning at Atlanta in this rubber game of the series. The Cubs still lead the Braves 7-5.
True Value Hardware stores would like you and your family to make fun of their West Point bicycles. A lot of people think a bicycle is a great means of transportation because it's economical. Others think it's an excellent form of exercise. But True Value Hardware stores want you to ride their West Point bicycles to have fun. So they offer a large selection of sizes and styles to suit every member of the family, including 10-speed racers, high-risers, and a convertible bike for beginners. Plus West Point motocross bikes and 3-speed touring bikes. So even if you and your family want to use West Point bikes for exercise or transportation, don't forget, they're a lot of fun, too. See the complete selection of West Point bicycles exclusively at participating True Value Hardware stores.
Before the Braves come to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning, let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Leading off, 9th man of the batting order, catcher Biff Pocarova, and the first pitch to him a ball too low. Came on to catch in the 7th inning. It's a swing and a miss. He lined out, and he's only trip to the plate today. Batting left-handed. Sutter could pick up his 2nd win of the year. Both of them right here in Atlanta. Right-hander delivery. Swung on. Ground ball. Buckner to his right, he has it. Sutter up the mound, takes the throw. 1 away in the 9th inning. 2 more, and the Cubs will go home with their 11th win of the year. And a 500 record on this road trip. But they got to get 2 more to do it. Gary Royster singled with 1 out in that 7th inning when they tied up the ball game temporarily. And on a sacrifice fly off the bat of Burroughs with the bases loaded, Speedster broke for the plate from 3rd.
Dave Rader out in front of the plate, waiting for the ball to bounce into him. And there was a collision between Dave and Royster. Dave was carried off the field in a stretcher, taken to the hospital for x-rays, moves back. There's a swing and a ground ball down to third base. He's out easily. Out of error, over to Buckner. Royster was not at fault in that injury. Just one of those things. Rader suffered a bruised right hip. Well, a lot of the fans running for the exit. Roland Office stepping in. He singled when Sitter came on in relief in that seventh inning. He homered in the sixth inning off Dennis Lamp. 2 for 4 today, and he's driven in 2 runs this afternoon. Left-hander takes. That's a letter high strike, and he's upset with that call. He thought it was a little high. Stepped out of the batter's box for a moment. Office hitting .273 at the moment. With 2 for 4 today. There's a swing and a tap on the first base side. Sitter up the mound. The ball is rolling foul into the glove of Buckner. Tags the runner anyway, just in case. We're going to have Jacket Day here at the end of May, and it's going to be Jacket Weekend. Two out, bases empty tonight. The Cubs need one more to have a victory here in Atlanta. That would equal their victory total here last year. They were 2 and 4 against the Braves at this ballpark, but beat them at Wrigley Field 5 out of 6. Sitter 1 out away from his second win delivery. There's a swing and a foul off the mid of the catcher. 0-2, the count on Roland Office. Another left-hander, Esselstein, due up next, and then the next guy would be Burroughs. We hope we don't see him again till the Braves come to Wrigley Field. 7-5. Cubs leading. They've out-hit Atlanta 11-7. Each team has been charged with an error. Wind up in the pitch. Tried to get a little too much on that one. It's low and inside. Hernandez, standing with his hands on his hips out down the left field line of the bullpen, is ready. Hips needed. Shooter hopes that won't be necessary. Gets a new baseball. Plate umpire rubs it up. Texas going into that action today has won 5 in a row, and they're trailing the Red Sox this afternoon. Boston has lost 4 out of its last 5. Now the windup and the 1-2 pitch. Started to go after it, and he held up in time as that split finger curve broke into the dirt. Ball 2, strike 2 on number 22. Roland Office. Very, very fast center fielder. Just 24 years of age. Left-handed hitter. Strips the bat right at the knob. Sitter winds. Here comes. He swings and misses. Strike 3. The ball game is over. The Cubs win. And Sitter finishes with a flourish, a strikeout. His second of the afternoon. 3 up and 3 down. The Cubs will be back at Wrigley Field, remember, on Tuesday afternoon against the Dodgers. And they will have this victory to remember today. And we hope that Dave Rader will be out of the hospital and be back in Chicago and ready to play very, very shortly. But the final score this afternoon, the Cubs 7, Atlanta 5.
When you brew a beer in God's country, you begin with sparkling pure Wisconsin spring water. Water that flows deep beneath the ground. Then you pure brew, double brew it in a traditional old world way called poisoning. Poisoning is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Most expensive because it takes more time. But Heileman's Old Style is one American premium beer that is still fully poisoned, naturally carbonated. Because at Old Style, we don't aim to make the most beer, only the best. Taste the difference poisoning makes. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. New Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Here are the totals. The Cubs 7 runs.
runs, 11 hits, 1 error, 5 men left on. Atlanta, 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. They left 6 men aboard. Bruce Sitter, his second win of the year. First one down here Friday night. He has suffered 2 defeats. Adrian Devine, the losing pitcher, his first loss after 1 win. And we just hope that Dave Rader is not seriously injured, but we'll just have to wait for the reports on that one. That occurred in a collision at the plate, in which the then tying run of the ball game scored, but Manny Trio coming up with a vicious shot gave the Cubs a lead again, and they held on to it. All in all, Lou, if Dave is not seriously injured, it'll have been a pretty good series.
Yes, indeed. Wishing the same thing you, of course, do for Dave to get the day off, and then hopefully that he can play on Tuesday against the Dodgers. It was a very fine victory, a tough one after getting that lead, then losing it, then coming through with the triple by Trio with 2 men on certainly helps. And let's hope that the Cubs will start scoring some runs when we get back home in Wrigley Field.
But it's been quite a while since we got that many on the board. Our next ball game Tuesday against the Dodgers. We'll be back with more about that in a moment. Our broadcast from Atlanta today brought to us by the Association of Chicagoland McDonald's Restaurant. Have breakfast at McDonald's tomorrow, huh? Your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers. Find out how the gallant men of old can make car buying a pleasure for you. General Finance's 70 Chicagoland offices to borrow up to $10,000. Pick up the phone and call old friendly Bob Adams at Andover, 32020. True Value Hardware Store is not just a name, that's their way of doing business. True Value. And the G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. I'll have the scoreboard for you in just a few moments. Then the Mike Pyle Show will be heard on WGN, followed by the sports writers. The 3 probable pitchers for the Dodgers who are to face the Cubs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday have a combined record of 10 wins, no losses. Veteran Tommy John is scheduled to go Tuesday. He's 4-0. Rick Russell, his probable bound opponent Tuesday at Wrigley Field, is 3-2. Doug Rao is their probable pitcher for Wednesday's game. Rao is 3-0. Ray Burris, probable bound opponent on Wednesday, is 2-0 for the Cubs. And the Dodgers' first visit to Wrigley Field is to be concluded Thursday with Rick Roden, 3 wins, no losses for Los Angeles against Woody Fryman, who's still looking for his first win in the Cub uniform. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau. Jack Minovich, our producer. The Cubs are winner here 7-5 today. They moved 2 games over the 500 mark. Our broadcast authorized under rights granted by the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers for this event. It's solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of the game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio Chicago. Train load of redwood has just arrived. Its rustic texture and earthy color make a handsome Decker fence. And just compare their low train load prices. Garden grade redwood 2x4s are just 49 cents a linear foot. They'll even cut your order size and deliver it. Heinz also has redwood planters and furniture. Start your redwood project now so you'll have the whole summer to enjoy it.
Back with you at Atlanta, Georgia, and it's time for the scoreboard, brought to us right now by Continental Airlines. You know, there's no lower fare to anywhere they fly than their chicken feet fares, and there are no restrictions. Continental Airlines. Glad to have them back with us again this year on the scoreboard. Lots of action to report today.
In NBA play, as they start the semifinal series between the Philadelphia 76ers and Dick Motta's Washington Bullets, they went into overtime. And Washington came out a winner, 122 to 117 over the Philadelphia 76ers. Now in baseball. Recall last night the Dodgers were shut out down at St. Louis. The Cardinals, with only 2 hits, won the ball game 1-0. The Dodgers had 4 hits. Well, this afternoon, the Dodgers again came up with 4 hits, no runs. And John Urias wound up the winning pitcher. Had some relief help from Vukovic. He got a home run off the bat of Kenny Reitz with nobody on in the 7th inning, and that proved to be all he needed, but the Cardinals got 3 insurance runs in the bottom of the 8th before a crowd of more than 21,600. So, Sutton the loser, 2-2. Rio the winner, 2-2 for the Cardinals. But the Cincinnati Reds did not take advantage of that opportunity to move into first place in the National League Western Division because they lost to their former pitcher, Pat Zachary, who is now with the New York Mets. Zachary, with relief help from Skip Lockwood, got his 3rd win without a loss for New York as the Mets knocked off the Reds 6-4, and they out-hit them 10-7. Each team was charged with 2 errors. Tom Hume, the starting and losing pitcher, 2-3 now for the Reds. They've got their problem. When's Tom Seaver going to be coming around right? When is Bill Bonham going to be able to get back into the rotation? He's been up with a shoulder injury. So the Reds and the Dodgers both losing this afternoon to Eastern Division opponents, and I'll have more on the scoreboard right after this.
Fly us to Chicago for only $75. The flights are unscheduled, of course. So 2 months before you...
Fly our special Econo Night Youth Super Standby Waitlist Fare. Good only February 30th and 31st. And in September on weekends.
Yes, friends. We can save you 80%. Just make your reservations in the next 10 seconds and pick up your tickets by mail. Or come in to Company Anywhere for just $50. Now, that provides you detailers, and you never know. You'll keep one part of the reservation, but Continental Airlines has put an end to discount fare confusion.
If you can't fly, Continental, you might as well not fly.
Continental's new chicken feed fares are unbeatable. They save you up to 40% off regular coach with no restrictions of any kind. But seats are limited, so call your travel agent or Continental Airlines now. Ask for the chicken feed fare. There's no lower fare from here to there.
May 15th. And update here over in the American League for just a moment. Baltimore has regained the lead with a run in the 8th inning in Chicago, 8-7. Orioles in the 8th over the White Sox. After the Sox had come up with 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th to tie it. Nordhagen is homered with nobody on, his 2nd of the year. And Singleton hit a 3-run homer for the Orioles earlier in the ballgame off starting pitcher Berrios. Kansas City at the end of 7 leads Milwaukee 2-0. Milwaukee batting in the 8th. And the Yankees defeated the Minnesota Twins today 3-2. Gossage in relief picked up his first win after 3 defeats for New York. And Scarce, the losing pitcher, his first decision for the Twins, who drew just under 14,000 today. The Texas Rangers, who are carrying a winning streak, they've won 5 in a row and 6 out of their last 7, are losing 1-0 to the Boston Red Sox. That game is now in the bottom of the 9th inning as Bill Lee of Boston goes after his 5th win of the year. Lee has not yet lost. Fergie Jenkins, the former Cub, pitching a good ball game, but gave up a run in the 4th, and it could cost him the ball game. Boston, by the way, trying to get back on the winning side. They've lost 4 out of their last 5. Detroit 1, Seattle nothing. That's early out in the Northwest in the 2nd inning. Toronto 6, California nothing in the 4th on the West Coast. And Cleveland and Oakland are scoreless at the end of 3 innings of play out in California this afternoon. That brings you up to date on the American League action. And back in the National League for just a moment. They're in the 9th inning at the Houston Astrodome. Montreal's Expos leading Houston 2-0. Montreal batting in the 9th. Forsch has come on in relief. And Rudy May has gone the distance so far for Montreal. The left-hander has shut out Houston through 8 as he goes after his 2nd win against 1 defeat. At Pittsburgh, a crowd of just under 8,000 saw the San Francisco Giants take the lead with 2 runs in the 1st inning. Pirates got one of them back on Manny Sanguillen's first homer of the year, but the base is empty.
But in the sixth inning, Mark Hill hit a two-run homer for the San Francisco Giants, and the Giants wound up a winner 7-3. Bob Nepper went all the way, his third win. The left-hander has lost only once. Bert Blyleven, the starting and losing pitcher for the Pirates, he now has won one and lost two. His victory came against the Cubs earlier this year. I'll be back with more on the scoreboard in a moment. You know, your local Seabart automotive rust proofing dealer is a good guy to know because he specializes in one thing and one thing only: protecting your vehicle from the destruction of its deadliest enemy, rust. And in these days of steadily increasing prices, protecting that new car, van, truck, or recreational vehicle from rusting is more important to you than ever before. It means you can keep it longer without it looking as if you had. And when you finally do sell or trade it, it's going to be worth more. Now, don't let your car dealer, or anyone else for that matter, tell you that they have something the same as Z-Bart or as good as Z-Bart. There are no substitutes for Z-Bart rust protection, and you can get it only from a Z-Bart dealer. You know, there are 26 Z-Bart dealers in the greater Chicagoland area. Look in the yellow pages under automobile, undercoating, and rust proofing for the one nearest to you and have him actually show you the difference. Remember, Z-Bart says it is us or rust. Later on here, let me take a look at the Vicar for just a moment, and I'll bring you up to date on this one. Detroit, Seattle, 1-0 at the end of two. Toronto, 6, California, 0. The Angels are now batting in the bottom of the fourth inning out on the West Coast in that ball game. Well, we don't beat that one. That's a Class A ball game. Milwaukee, Kansas City. Now in the bottom of the eighth inning, and it's the Kansas City Royals 3, Milwaukee 0. Kansas City, as expected, off to a great start this year, but unexpectedly, the Oakland A's off to an even better one. Oakland today goes into the record of 15-5, Kansas City 13-5. And there's no score in that Oakland ball game. That's now in the bottom of the third inning as they bat against the Cleveland Indians. And the Texas Rangers still batting in the bottom of the ninth, and they're trailing 1-0 against the Boston Red Sox. Back in the National League at Philadelphia, Oscar Gamble a home run for the San Diego Padres, but Davey Johnson hit a grand slam home run in the fifth inning for the Philadelphia Phillies. That for Davey is his first homer of the year. It was down here at Atlanta as a second baseman. He established a new league record for homers in a season by a second baseman with, I want to say, 42. And he has a grand slammer for his first home run this year for the Philadelphia Phillies. That helped Lurch go to his third win against only one loss, and it handed left-hander Randy Jones his second defeat of the season for the Padres. He has one win at Philadelphia today. They drew 31,101. And here, the Cubs, with a run in the first inning, got 4 on the board in the second as Greg Gross walloped his first home of the year, a 3-run shot for Gross. And young Dale Murphy hit a 2-run homer for the Atlanta Braves in the second inning, and they had another home run by Roland Office leading off the sixth inning with the bases empty. Both of those shots came off Dennis Lamp, who had to be taken out of the ball game. And then Bruce Sutter finished up for the Cubs, and he got himself a victory, a second against 2 losses. Adrian Devine, the losing pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, came out of relief and just couldn't get the job done. There was a collision at the plate in that seventh inning when the Braves temporarily tied it up. Dave Rader trying to block the plate, waiting for a throw in from Greg Gross on a sacrifice fly off the bat of Jeff Burrows. Royster collided with the Cub catcher, who suffered a bruised right hip in that collision at the plate, and the Raider has been taken to the hospital here for x-rays, and we have no further report on that. We just hope that those x-rays will prove to be negative, and that later will be back in action. The Cubs will be back in action at Wrigley Field on Tuesday to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, with Rick Russell scheduled to start for the Cubs against unbeaten Tommy John. The left-hander has 4 wins for the Dodgers so far this year. That's it on the scoreboard. I'm Vince Lloyd. It's been brought to you today by Continental Airlines. Remember, there's no lower fare day anywhere they fly. Then there's chicken feed fares, and there are no restrictions. This season, the scoreboard is also brought to you by the 26 Chicagoland Z-Bart Dealers. This has been a presentation of WGN Sports from WGN Radio, Chicago.
Now people can tell you just what you need.
Heinz trainload of redwood has just arrived. Its rustic texture and earthy color make a handsome deco scent. And just compare their low trainload prices. Garden-grade redwood 2x4s are just 49 cents a linear foot. They'll even cut your order size and deliver it. Heinz also has redwood planters and furniture. Start your redwood project now so you'll have the whole summer to enjoy it. Lumber Company in Montgomery, Route 31 and Webster Street, south of Aurora. This is WGN Radio, Chicago. And now WGN News brought to you by Fairfield Savings and Loan. Good afternoon, I'm Jerry Golden. Joggers running in the Bill Erickson Forest Preserve found the dismembered remains of a man this morning in the Skokie Lagoon. Joanne Williams has more on that story in this report.
Police from Winnetka, Glencoe, the Forest Preserve, and Cook County Sheriff's Police investigated. Divers and police using canoes searched the area. Parts of the body were found across the lagoon from the investigation scene. Sergeant Howard Anderson of the Cook County Sheriff's Police.
They found 4 or 5 separate bags containing various body parts.
Who found it?
A couple of joggers, I think, found the original one, called the Northfield Police. And they notified forest rangers and that.
Any identification yet?
No.
Were all those parts found?
No. We're still missing.
Fingerprints were taken. And I was second to the Cook Medical.